Good evening, everyone, and happy Independence Early Day. I know it's a couple of days off still. We got, 2 days till the 4th of July. Please, nobody blow themselves up, okay? I got a lot of friends that like to play with fireworks. And I mean, myself, I'm bad about it too, but don't blow the state up. Don't blow yourself up. Be a little careful and watch your kids. You know, I've seen one of my good friends, I remember this, I was 14, 15. He had a half a gross of bottle rockets in his pocket, and he was throwing them up in the air. And one of them shot down, lit his whole pocket up. You ought to see he was doing some kind of Indian dance, running around, pulling them out, and all of his only thing was coming out was sticks because everything was on fire. His pocket, 30-degree burns, messed him up pretty good. Then the idiot the next day goes and jumps in a pond and goes swimming. I'm like, dude, what are you trying to kill yourself? What the hell's going on here? But you see these kind of accidents all the time, and not that I haven't burnt myself once or twice on fireworks. I have, and we used to have Roman candle wars when we were kids. Oh man, we put on. See, when we were kids, we used to have BB gun wars. So we put on helmets and pads and all kind of stuff, motorcycle helmets, shields, and go out and have BB gun wars. So then we get the wise idea. Well, if we could shoot BBs at each other, we can definitely shoot fireworks at each other. So I tell you what, I remember they were going to invade my fort, and I had one of them 100 Roman candle things. I tore them up, man. 100 at a time. It's like having a machine gun. Anyways, enough about that. I don't want to give any kids any ideas in case anybody's children's watching this. Mike's going to take over for about 5 seconds because I got to run over and turn over 2 servers on because there's nobody else here but me. Mike, why don't you introduce yourself, babe?
Hey guys, how you doing? Y'all know me. Yeah, you know what? Of course, Michael Angley, Discovery Paranormal, and Red Pill News. Plus, we're here on the Centralist radio show tonight, coming at you live from United States, man, up here in New York. Joe's down there in New Orleans. But I'll tell you about the firework thing. When I was young, I used to love fireworks, of course. Teenagers, and especially in New York, like on Long Island, it was forbidden. So anybody who had it was a rebel, and that was the way to be. And we used to take like PCV pipe and make rocket launchers for bottle rockets and put them in there and shoot them at each other, And then, when you're young, you do stupid things. You that's the way you live. I hate to see any guys out there in their 40s and 50s still doing that today, But think about the dogs, think about the animals out there that react harshly to fireworks when people have the loud, obnoxious fireworks in neighborhoods. Colorful fireworks are really cool. You know what I mean? Like sparklers or the fountains, fountains are real cool. Even they have mortars that burst into colors and you don't have to have the real loud noise. But, it is what it is. And this year there's a shortage of fireworks, they're saying. Because of COVID-19, they haven't been able to make them fast enough. So there's a premium on them, Joe. A premium on fireworks.
Oh, I know. It's fortunately I live in states where, like in Alabama, they sell fireworks year round, which is cool. So you can go around. They sell them all over the place, and there you get them pretty cheap. So it puts a pressure on the coast to keep their prices down. But if you go anywhere above the 3 or 4 bottom states, they're outrageous. Because usually we'll go out and buy, they're just like performance packs. So they
rip you off.
Yeah, they'll be like $50 or $100, and you get all these really pretty color ones and nice ones, and really a lot of nice stuff in them. And they'll last for about a half an hour to pack. For $300 or $400, you can get a really nice one. But you can also get the big candles down here pretty cheap. I know a pack of like 50 of just the aerial displays run you about $200, but they're really nice and they get up there and burst all over the place. And I remember one New Year's, we were shooting them off, and me and Sam had spent about $1,000 on fireworks. And we were putting on a really nice display in the neighborhood. And one of them bounced out of the thing, and the kids were out there watching it, just popped on the ground. So, it did that big lateral explosion. These people call the cops on us because their kid was outside. I'm like, man, you should have been watching your damn kids' fireworks. You never know what's going to happen. A cop come, you're not supposed to be shooting fireworks here. So then he left. We started shooting again. He comes back. He said, I'm going to tell you again, because New Orleans is against the law to shoot fireworks. You got to go in the outlying areas. And I'm like, well, we're going to do all these fireworks. He said, you shouldn't have bought them in the first place. I'm like, really? So we waited about an hour because we know they switch over at midnight. So we waited till he got off, and then we just started shooting him again.
No respect for the law.
No kids. Well, I got lots of family members in the law. So, a good friend of mine the other day, he said, he was bitching about this cop, pulled him over, gave him a ticket. I said, well, what were you doing? He said, what doing? I said, dude, you had to be doing something. He just didn't pull you over for no reason. He said, I might have been swerving. in the lane. I said, "Wow, you were playing with your cell phone, weren't you?" "Oh, no, no, I wasn't." "Well, what were you doing? Were you drinking?" I said, "Well, I was playing with my cell phone." I said, "Of course you were." And I said, "And that's why you were swerving lane." I said, "What a cop did? He wrote me a ticket for playing with my cell phone." I said, $150 ticket too. And that's if they don't make you go to court. If you go to court, it's gonna be $400 ticket. Court. I think it's $250 right now. So you don't want to go there. So be careful when you're out there, people. I mean, I want y'all to go out and have a good fireworks display and have a lot of fun and blow a lot of stuff up, but be careful and don't pick on animals. You know, my little Chihuahua freaks out every year. When I had before my other two passed, they'd be just at the door all night barking, 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 barking. But they got used to it. She's only 2 years old. She still hasn't really got used to it. The other one yesterday, one pop, she was just growling, snarling, snapping, and then under the bed she went. I was like, oh shit.
I had dogs that were terrified,
Oh
man,
yeah.
terrified of even lightning and stuff like that. But the nonstop fireworks, man, that go on not just for one night, but it's like days and
Oh,
days and days.
pretty much starting tonight until I'd say Monday evening or Tuesday, they're gonna be nonstop on party. Matter of fact, if you come down here tomorrow, even tonight, and start driving down the coast, you will just see people up and down the coast shooting fireworks.
I'll be right down, man.
The only saving grace for us is it might rain the next 2 days, so there may be less of them. But
Right.
yeah,
Then they save them up, and then they do it after the rain because
yeah,
they
well,
have
they
them
spent
all
all that
like
money.
stored up. Yeah.
Well,
But
fireworks are cheap. Ooh, shit. Sorry, guys, I don't know where them yawns keep coming from, but fireworks aren't
you're,
cheap. I mean,
you're
guys,
tired, man.
yeah, I need some
Tired.
coffee. I'm thinking I'm gonna make the wife go make some
I'm
coffee.
drinking some coffee right now.
Yeah, I'm thinking about hitting her up, making her go make a pot. It's but just be careful out there. Now we're gonna get into a lot of news tonight, guys. There's a lot. We're gonna talk about COVID first because there's a lot of just shit going on with COVID. They got a bunch of nurses that are refusing to get the shot. We have hotspots showing up in 5 states for sure, and Joe Biden and Kamala are going to get together and get their teams out and go to 1,000 places where it's only 30%, and we're going to make them get a shot. Yeah, I want to watch this. I'd pay money to watch Joe Biden go out and give anybody a shot. He'd be poking you in the eyeball and shit. I mean, I'm not exactly sure, but I've noticed the last 3 world leaders he said at the White House, Biden's got cue cards with him. Now, none of the other world leaders do, by the way. They're just talking off the hip. Biden's over there, and you'll see him. So he's trying not to let y'all see him, even though he's got him in his hand in the beginning. He puts him down his leg, and he's looking like this the whole time. Instead of looking up at the camera, he's looking down his leg. Well, he's reading. I mean, come on. Do we really want a moron like this running our country? And then Kamala, oh my God. We're going to talk about her later in the show because if I get started on her now, we'd be here for an hour. The woman is just, how she got to be a VP. It just tells you that we really don't care what we choose in VP.
Oh, hell no. Of course not.
I mean, it just gets crazy. But first off, so here we are. We know California's having an outbreak. All right, here's California yet again having another outbreak.
Big time.
And it's a pretty good one. Now, I haven't seen exactly where. As soon as I find the story.
On the show. I will tell people that 5 weeks ago, right here, I said in the first week in July, we're going to see the big major spike. And now we're seeing the major spike. But unfortunately, you have less testing. They closed up camp for most of these places. We could do drive-through testing. It was easy. There's not a lot of vaccine out there. And like in even New York State, it's hard to get. And some of it has expired. Some of it they're out of stock on. It's just stuff like that. And then coupled with the fact you have the people who never believed in it. They took the mask off as soon as Fauci said, if you're vaccinated, take the mask off outside. Everyone thought it was over. But now you have places like Las Vegas, no social distancing, smoking inside. People no masks, right? No mandates for anything. Of course, it's the perfect storm,
It is. It really is. But Michael, look, let's be honest. If we can figure this out, I mean, we're just nobody sitting here doing our thing, I mean, I hate to say we're nobodies, but I mean, compared to big politicians, we're nobodies. But yet we can figure this out. And yet the House, the Senate, and the president can't figure it out. I mean, come on.
I think they have figured it out. And the conspiratorial part of my brain says that they like the power that they got from this pandemic. They like the special powers.
And unfortunately, I have to agree with that.
Emergency use powers. Look at what they did. You can't go fishing in your own boat. That was up Minnesota, right? I mean, they made the craziest rules because of COVID, man. And I don't know. It's It's not good. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense at all what they're doing. So if it's not a conspiracy, it's not. If it's not what the power thing, I don't know what it is.
I agree. No, I think the Democrats got used to holding this, having this power over everybody, because it was the blue states that took the longest to get back. It's the blue states that are having the outbreaks, not the red states. Well, let me say that one red state is, but the other four are blue states, and you got to wonder what's going on here. I mean, come on, people. It's not hard to figure out. Go get a shot or don't go get a shot. If you're not going to get a shot, look, you're not going to get me sick. I've had a shot. I'm glowing green these days, but still, I've had a shot. So I'm not worried about you getting me sick. And I might get you sick, but I'm not going to get. So what's really going on here is the people who haven't had shots are getting sick. That's what the politicians are telling you. Now, the CDC did not actually agree with that. Come to find out, there have been people that are fully vaccinated with the Moderna and the Pfizer and the AstraZeneca and the Johnson & Johnson. And guess what? Some of them have died from COVID.
Half of the people who died yesterday were vaccinated.
So you got to wonder what BS we've been being told. And YouTube, this is not fake news. These are stats you go check for yourself before you go trying to throw us off again. These stats are out there for anybody to look at. And it's hard. And the governments have to admit to it, because family members are going on television saying, hey, my husband just died of COVID and he was completely vaccinated and he doesn't have cancer. He doesn't have this. He doesn't have that. He was healthy and now he's dead.
The problem is none of the vaccines were 100%, and they all had a level of protection, but that was for the original variant. That was not even a variant. That was for the original bug, we'll say, right? Now you have these variants that are way more infectious. They're deadlier in a lot of ways. They cause other symptoms. There's COVID toes, for instance, where your toes get all swollen and red. There's now the Delta, I know, has caused skin problems, big lesions on people's skins and dry mouth and what. So there's new symptoms. It's really going after diabetics and going after their organs, So and then you have the Delta. Now you have the Delta Plus. The Delta Plus is even more deadlier and more contagious than the other one. But when you're talking about something that's aerosolized up in the air in a room for 2 or 3 hours, so if an infectious person was in there and they coughed or sang out loud or whatever or yelled, anything, that could be up there. And then 2.5 hours later, you could walk in there and breathe it in. So still use your mask, still wash your hands, sanitize. But it doesn't even matter, dude. It's too late. Because people are already in big groups together. They're already congregating. They're already...
Oh, it's 4th of July. You know it.
4th of July, even before that, Las Vegas, places like that. Las Vegas just made $1.2 billion in last week because they opened up the doors and people are in there, right? But you're in a closed air environment. You know Vegas. The casinos, man. There's no sunshine in there.
So this cracks me up, okay? Here we go. We're going to talk about this real quick. So... I looked earlier. The CDC said there's 5 states, and Mike and I was talking about, Nevada, California, Arkansas. There was 2 others, and that was the major ones. Now, the Washington Post says there's 11 states, and they're all red states, coincidentally. Well, the Texas governor yesterday said we have no problem with COVID in the state, which is our lowest rate ever. So did the Florida governors. So you got to kind of wonder why they would even try to slide that in there. Mm-hmm. So this just tells you the media cannot be trusted. Things like the Washington Post are just a joke.
I don't trust them ever.
They're left leaning and they're never going to tell you the truth.
New York Times, they all lost their credibility, all of them.
So now they were trying to say yesterday, just the Washington Post guys. We're trying to say yesterday that there were 2,650 deaths in Texas. Really? The governor was on TV yesterday saying it was below 100.
Deaths from what?
COVID.
No.
That's just outright bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's to the point now where you just can't trust anything. And it's, what do you mean, Carl? No, it's today's news. 7423. I'm sorry, I got the wrong date. I was looking at the wrong thing.
Uh-oh.
So anyway, guys, it's ridiculous. We have 5 states breaking out. One of them are red state, 4 of them are blue states. The thing of it is the liberals irritate me with this. Oh, yeah, well, the red states are going to die. Well, unfortunately for y'all, the red states aren't showing any COVID anywhere, but the blue states are. And California is going to be a problem because California has, 36. Well, they had 38 million, so 36 million people in it now. They're the number 1 state, by the way, for people leaving. 36 million people, and maybe half have gotten a shot. And what Michael's saying is true. The vaccines are not 100% for anybody. What, a matter of fact, and this is what AstraZeneca, Johnson and Johnson, Moderna, and Pfizer said day one on their vaccines. They said, "Look, we will say it's 98% effective from keeping you from dying, but it's not 98% effective from keeping you from getting COVID." They never said that. The government said that, and the CDC said that. I remember Johnson said they were about 63% effective from keeping you from getting the disease. They said it would be a less of a disease, whatever the variants were, but it would be less. But never said you wouldn't get it. None of the other ones ever said you wouldn't get it either. But the White House came out once Mr. Cracker took over. Oh well, nobody's going to die from COVID anymore as long as you get your shot. It's 100% effective. Well, who the hell? Come on, America. You cannot be that ignorant. We have all been dealing with viruses. If you're over 10 years old or 15 years old, you've seen at least 10 flu strains come through in your lifetime. That's the flu. We know everything mutates, and when you have a population of 7 billion people with these diseases, there's going to be major mutations. What's really scaring me is we don't see some really nasty one that completely changes the virus where the vaccines don't work at all, which is possible.
That's why it seems like this direction is going.
It does seem to work. If I'd say this, if they don't get a handle on this within the next year, there's going to need to be a new vaccine because the ones they have aren't going to work anymore. When you let something mutate this long, you're going to have problems with it.
They're developing a booster shot for maybe October, November, for all of them. They're looking at a booster. So, it really depends on what the virus does and how it spreads. And, only 1/3 of America is properly vaccinated. The other, they're saying over 200 million, but a lot of people only have the one shot. And if you only have the one shot, you're not fully vaccinated.
No, you're not.
So, unless it's Johnson & Johnson, because J&J has the one shot.
Has the one shot.
Yeah.
But see, you and I know this, but Biden's up there getting on TV the other day going on and on about 250 million. I'm like, there ain't no 250 million Americans completely vaccinated. That's just an outright lie. I have never seen it. I've watched these people calling Trump out on lies all the time. And I'm like, okay, where are y'all at? Political facts, where you at? I did notice, though, Politico has started calling Biden out on some of his lies. I was kind of surprised by that because I guess when you lie as much as he does, you have to call him out.
All right, so
go ahead.
here's a list of the states that have COVID on the rise as of today. Okay, you got Puerto Rico and Alaska. And I'll tell you about Puerto Rico. That's just the two outskirts. Mm-hmm. Puerto Rico, they just authorized using the dung vaccine for people in Puerto Rico. And, the virus, dung virus, it's pretty heavy. The vaccine's really heavy. Vaccine kills people, man. And they authorized the use, which raised a lot of eyebrows. But, all right, so you got Vermont. It's on the rise. Vermont is a big blue state, of course. Michigan is on the rise. North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, Arkansas, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, California, Oregon, Nevada, Idaho, Montana, and Washington State. So that's a lot, man. That's 20 states today, and it's becoming the most dominant variant in the United States of America.
Yeah, I've been hearing about the Delta a lot. It's I'm getting tongue tied. I've seen a new report from Johnson & Johnson on the Delta. They're saying they were actually put a warning out. They didn't say it would kill you, but it said it could make you sick, almost as sick as you would have got from the original COVID, but it won't kill you. It won't give you something about your lungs. It won't go there. And wait, and what I liked about Johnson & Johnson, it said yet. He actually said that. He actually said yet. He said, look, if this is allowed, just like we said a minute ago, he said, if this is allowed to go on for another year, there will be variants that will be completely immune to the vaccine because they will have got into vaccine people and mutated from the vaccine people and gone on to somebody else and killed them. And it looks like we've already seen that. So, look, guys, it doesn't take rocket scientists to figure out that if you allow a disease to keep proliferating throughout 6 billion people, 7 billion people, that sooner or later it's going to develop into something serious nasty. Now, by saying that, I got to say the other side too. It could go away. We have actually seen viruses that were deadly turn into mute. They didn't harm anybody, and that could happen. But
Sure.
I'm telling you what, I'm not counting on that. I'm
It
just
hasn't
saying.
it hasn't happened yet with this. We haven't even seen, and all the variants that come off of this are worse than the last.
Yeah, so far
So
that's how it's always been.
that's the problem. But now there's a more. So you got the Delta, of course, which originated in well, mutated in India, but India actually sued. I don't know who they sued, but they sued. I think they sued all the media outlets because people were calling it the India corona, But of
Yeah.
course, now they're calling them beta, alpha, and all that, So this one is the Delta, and the Delta plus. So let's see. Delta. So the Delta variant, which was first identified in India, now accounts for 25% of all new COVID cases in the U.S. and it's on track to be the dominant version, of course. So they're already saying it's the 1 in 5, which it's giving it heavy weight. And I'll tell you about Fauci, man.
He needs to go to jail. Is what he
All of
needs
a
to do.
sudden you're not really seeing him because he was everywhere. He was on doing shows and all this other stuff, and I think since he said people take your mask off, that was like one of the I don't know, I don't the whole thing that
Well,
the
it's
whole
more than
thing
that. His emails busted him for giving money to that Wuhan lab. Now nobody trusts him. I mean, he.
right
Let's look at it like this: whether it came from the Wuhan lab or not, we're not saying. But what we are saying is he was giving China money to develop a more deadly strain of this virus. Why? Why?
right
What possibly good could this be? So you got to wonder what's going on there,
well
and why is an American funding a communist lab in the first damn place? He should be in jail.
in the United Kingdom it's 95% of all new COVID cases, so you can see where things are going, with this thing. So it really comes down to, is it going to be more deadly? Is it going to kill more people? Or is it going to just, it's not just how it kills. It's more about what it does to your lungs, and how it, like literally like someone taking a razor blade to your lungs and slicing them up. People have lost 30 to 40% of their lung capacity forever because they've got COVID, young people too. But then you have all of the other reports, like what Israel initially reported, that young men were having enlarged hearts because of some of the vaccines. So they started examining that, and it scares people. Yeah. So maybe 10 people out of 100,000 will have the issue, but when the headline hits, people see that. And they're like, "Oh, I'm not getting that thing. I'm not getting the vaccine. Why should I get it?" But then there's a school of thought, like, if you are young, you definitely don't want to get COVID, no matter what. But people have gotten it, has come and gone without any symptoms at all. They're asymptomatic, and it didn't do any damage to them. So there's a lot of like not knowing, and there's a lot of brashness and knee jerk reactions and all of this. But I'll tell you about the Delta plus the old COVID that we know. If you had COVID, we would say the replication rate of spread is between 2 to 3 people. You have it, you give it to 2 or 3 people, right? This one is 1 in 7. So obviously it's more infectious and it spreads further, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I mean, by the time people close the door, it'll be too late.
Well, I mean, if you're looking here, people, this is what the government's going by right here. This is their charts, and you can clearly see up here. I'll go back up here where it was. Oh, I got to go back on the other page. But hold on. See right here, California just out. I mean, they're just compared to the rest of the country, just blown out of the thing here. They got a lot of people in California. I mean, Texas does too. I mean, Texas is only 8 million short of California, but this is ridiculous. Now on this other page we were just on, you can clearly see this is current up to date cases right here. But this is how many people died according to the government. 600,000 people have died from COVID. That is equal to the cancer rate in the United States, by the way, in case y'all didn't know that, ladies and gentlemen. That's how many people cancer kills every year in the United States.
I thought that was more like 2 million.
No,
Cancer.
now it's about 600 some thousand. Then you get heart disease. It actually beats out cancer. But so the thing of it is, guys, is about they have a different thing. And we'll do this on another show. We'll pull up all the things so you can see what the different rates are. Now, we did have more deaths this year than average, about 200,000 more. But this is the problem. You had 600,000 people die from COVID, but we only up 200,000 deaths. Okay, where are the other 400,000 of COVID going? Well, of course, COVID didn't kill them, other 400,000. Cancer killed them, or heart disease killed them, or diabetes killed them. COVID was just a help along, but COVID was not the actual cause of death. The only reason they market that way is because hospitals get paid more money.
So you're right. 606,520 people will die from cancer.
Yeah.
They're estimating.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with my stats. I usually keep on most of this, but I also got a couple of friends that are doctors too.
That's why I don't understand when people argue with you, Joe. What the hell's wrong with them?
Because when I look, Florida's up a little bit too now. I don't want to hate on just hate on Cali, but Florida's up a little bit too.
Sometimes we go each other with opinions.
Well, yeah, because we have opinions. That's a different thing.
But when it comes to information, I mean,
we're usually pretty on the same page.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I tell people all the time, and when I'm doing my other show, that's totally different than this one. I tell people, if you're going to come argue with me, you better have facts together, because I know my shit. I don't come on a show unprepared, guys. I'm not one of those hosts that comes on, well, I'm just going to talk for 2 hours and just – no, I don't do that. I do my research. Then I come on the show because, if not, you look like an idiot. And, you've seen me argue with people over the years, and they look like idiots when they're done, because I know what I'm talking about, and they're kind of, And what's great about this is we're all on the internet who's listening, so people can go, well, Joe just said that. Oh, he's right. Simple thing. You see, Mike just did it himself. I mean, it's an easy thing to fact check these days, and you need to be on your thing. See, we're looking at hotspots right now, and you can scan through the country in this pretty pink map. Look at Nebraska. They ain't got nobody in there, man. It's because nobody lives in Nebraska.
Yeah, exactly. I drove through it twice, man. There ain't nobody there.
Nebraska,
they don't call it the Badlands for nothing.
Yeah, I love you Nebraskans, but then now I see Missouri over there got a couple of spots. Ooh, look at it, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Florida got a couple of spots. But when you look across the Gulf Coast, there's nothing. Not even in Florida, there's nothing. You got one little spot over here in Georgia, probably outside of Atlanta somewhere, some suburb. But really, when you look at the most of the country, I mean, a good chunk of it's in the blue. Look at Alaska over here.
So, of course, we just talked about the UK, the dominant variant. It's 95% dominant. Yes, July 2nd, today, 27,556 new cases. Now, let's go back to May 17th, 0, right? May 20th, 2,000 cases, 2,700, and going up, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, every day, going up another 1,000. Then it just jumped 15,000 to 20,000 to 27,000. England's got a huge problem. So the death rate hasn't caught up yet because, COVID, it lags behind, right? 2 or 3 weeks when all this stuff happens. This is what we know about it. We've been trying to play catch up. So July 1st, they had 14 deaths. We had, 380 deaths, was it yesterday or something like that? But it's still, one is too much. You know what I mean? But Russia, man, oh my God, Russia's got a huge spike, looking like a mountain going up. And same for Brazil, same for Mexico.
Who else had a big one? North Korea. I heard Kim Jong-un. He was pissed the other day. He went off on his whole government, like, I can't believe y'all let this get out of control. He was just going off on. You got to wonder how North Korea. There's something wrong with him. Yeah. You got to wonder how North Korea got so much, because they don't do any business with anybody but themselves. I guess they got it from China.
But look at Canada, man. I mean, they were getting down there. Look, 17 on June 28th, 11th on June 30th. All of a sudden, 22 deaths. I mean, 35 yesterday. So they're spiking again. It's starting to spike. So and they've been under lock and key.
And they're out right now for Canada Day. So next thing we know, our host we got a lot of hosts from Canada, so we got to be careful. I think we got 6 or 7 hosts from Canada. So
Canadian bacon.
We can't let them get. So when you look at these maps, one of the nice things about this StreamYard is just like Skype, you can pull up the maps.
Dude. So they got Canada Day, which was yesterday. So happy Canada Day for everybody in Canada. It's their fake 4th of July. It's like, and basically they claimed unity, like they're all one country or something. Meanwhile, it's like socialism up there. They don't even have the luxury of free speech. They got nothing.
They don't. They have had a hard time in Canada, and people don't hate on us. Like I said, we have 7 Canadian hosts, so I talk to the Canadians on a regular basis. They have been locked down. See, I've been free down.
Only a couple of them are cool.
Yeah, we ain't gonna get into that. But I live in the deep South, Louisiana and Mississippi. I have residence in both states, and we've been free down here 6 months before them. Now, in all fairness to me, I've been free the whole time because I'm considered an essential worker because I own a maintenance company and we have contracts with different apartment complexes that have to have maintenance whether COVID's there or not. And even today, even with all the freedom, I still ask customers, would you like us to wear a mask? Everybody on our crew is, well, my partner's not actually, hasn't been vaccinated, but everybody else has been vaccinated. And my son wasn't really worried, but he's 35. He already had COVID. He got it last year in January, same time I did. So for us, it was a little different. We both got it and then got vaccinated. So we're like double protected. But still, if it gets into like a variant F or G, that might kill us. I'm not feeling right now that we have this under control. And what I mean by that is I feel like the US is kind of under control. Canada's trying to get under control. Mexico's trying to get under control, but the rest of the world, especially when you get into South America and Africa, it's not. It's running wild down there and it keeps changing, making new variants and new variants. In Europe, it's making new variants. And sooner or later, it's either going to make a nasty, nasty one or it's going to quit. But the problem is we don't know which one's going to come first. And I don't want to find out. I don't want to hear about, variant F or variant Z, the Z variant that's killing everybody on the planet as soon as they get it. You live 2 days and you're dead.
You know what the problem is? In the poor countries, it's very hard to quantify what's going on because they're so poor and they don't have the proper testing. They don't even have access to a lot of vaccines. We had to help Canada. We sent 1 million vaccines up there. I mean, Canada, you think that they'd be able to handle it on their own.
But yeah, that's a good thing. Let's talk about that for a second. So I'm talking to our Canadian hosts and they're telling me that they're not getting shots and not getting this. Now, America medians, we sent all together 30-something million vaccinations a day. We sent some Johnson & Johnson, some AstraZeneca, some Moderna, some Pfizer, way more than enough to get them taken care of. Well, Mr. Pink Shorts, or Justin Trudeau as he's called, was giving some of them away to Europe. But we were watching them on the local news getting shots in places like Toronto, Ontario, Saskatchewan, the East West Coast. But their media was telling them that no one was getting shots. Well, what the hell? So it's gotten to the point now in any country, if you want the truth, you got to watch media from another country talking about Europe. The same thing here. If you go watch NBC and CNN, you're wasting your time. You're not getting nothing but liberal bullshit. Well, no, Fox is just Republican bullshit most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. Regardless, if I'm going to get American news on America, I'm going to watch BBC or One American News because
Exactly.
I'm not just you can't just watch anything from here. You're not going to get the truth. The Europeans talk about us. They don't care. There's a channel I got. What's it called? It's EU News, and it goes through all the countries over there. Right? It handles like 19 countries, and it's great because they talk about us and what's going on in America the way we should hear the news. Because they're like, hey, you stupid Americans. But our news won't report it like that. Our news either wants to pluff it way up or push it way down. Whatever the politicians at the time are saying, that's what they want to go with. And what's so funny to me about this is, Trump did a lot of this stuff, and all news hated him. All of a sudden, Biden's just following in Trump's footsteps, with the exception of the border wall. He's just following his footsteps, and they're not hating on him. It's just sad, guys. We need real news. Oh, and by the way, here's a little side note for y'all. Chris Cuomo has the most popular news show on CNN.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, and it is ranked 24th amongst all the news shows in the world. So Fox has 14 news shows above him. NBC has 7 news shows above him.
Right.
It's just sad, guys.
Nobody watches that crap.
And nobody else on CNN is even getting in anything.
Don Lemon quit, didn't that idiot Don Lemon?
Oh, did they? I didn't know. I didn't hear about it. He probably needed to quit. He's kind of racist pig. He's funny sometimes.
He's horrible.
Yeah, he was funny sometimes, but he's definitely a racist pig.
Before Trump, it wasn't so bad with these guys, but they showed their true colors, man, when he was in there. And the shenanigans that went on with the Democrats, so many people lost credibility forever. They're never going to get it back.
It's let's see what that question. What is that, Mike? What state? Maine. I haven't heard anything about Maine lately. Oh, hell, Amelia, I didn't even see you in the chat room. Hey, sweetie, what you up to? I haven't. I haven't heard anything about Maine. I know my son was up in Massachusetts just a couple of weeks ago when he proposed to his girlfriend. They were in Salem, but he said it was just kind of laid back. I'll look for you. I just haven't heard anything about them. Well, they're on the Canadian border, so you never know. But they're on a Canadian border where nobody's above them. Let's be honest about it. There's nobody
Well,
above
look at Nevada, right? Let's see. The state currently has the highest weekly case rates per capita. No surprise, since a month ago they reopened the casinos and everything, right? 109 cases per 100,000 residents. The Nevada reported 543 new cases, most from Clark County, which is where Las Vegas and all that.
them.
Henderson is 11 new deaths on Thursday. The last time the state reported 11 deaths was near the end of April. So a big
I
problem,
agree,
you
Judge.
know. And then, so now the state, at a 14-day test positivity rate of 5.8%, and those are the people who are tested. Imagine the ones. I mean, there's people who haven't been tested, so that's a huge rate, man. 5.8. That was like
No, it is.
the beginning of COVID. We started seeing numbers like that. Went all the way up to 13, 14, 15%. And that's just Nevada. So
No, it is. Samantha.
Arkansas and Missouri, man, look at that. You got your backyard right there, man. 686 new probable and confirmed COVID-19 cases on Wednesday. Missouri Governor Mike Parson asked for help from the federal surge response team to deal. That's your Biden guy, man, to deal with mounting number of COVID-19 cases in the state.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where we just got to get past the lies, and we're going to get into some more of these good lies in just a few minutes on a whole nother subject. I know Stacy just wrote to me about a couple of things, and I had picked up one of her articles that she had written about Black Lives Matter. We're going to get into that in a few minutes. But guys, all I can tell you with COVID, I'm always going to tell you the same thing with COVID because I have to, because of all the people we broadcast with. If I don't tell you to get a shot or not to get a shot, they will throw us off the air. So all I can tell you is it's your choice whether you want to get a shot or not. I would tell you my personal preference, but I'm telling you they would throw us off the air. If Mike told you, he'd throw us off there. YouTube would just strip us on all three pages. They have gotten so stupid. They threw a show off the other day about COVID that was 10 years old. Yeah, how could it be talking about COVID that was 10 years old?
I'll say this. I've been educated on the vaccines, and I do advise people to get the vaccines because you have more of a chance of fighting it off with the vaccine than without. It doesn't matter if you talk about percentages and if you get it, this person had this problem or this person could die. You could die from anything. Yeah, you're making the choice to get the vaccine. The vaccine is untried. In long-term testing, things like that. But the bottom line is you have more of a chance of surviving if you get COVID-19, if you have the vaccine or not. If you're the person who's going to be susceptible to COVID-19, especially if you're elderly, if you're above 60 years old, definitely, people should have the vaccine, right? For young people, it's a mixed bag. The new variant is affecting a lot of people under 40. Used to be over 40. Now this is all under 40. I mean, it's still over 40, but, for young people, for teenagers, for children, the Delta virus is affecting them. And there's no vaccine for children. So you have to look at that, too. It's a new ball game, man. It really is. It's a chess game,
It is. It is. And I would just go out. I agree with Michael. And I went through COVID without a shot the first time around, and it was miserable. I was sick for 16 days. I remember on the 16th day, I said, I'm still feeling shitty. I got up, went and see my doctor. My doctor just looked at me like, Joe, you can't have the flu for 16 days. I said, well, what the hell have I got? And she said, I don't know. And she said, there's nothing I can treat you with. She said, you seem to be coming out of it fine. And then 2 days later, my wife was in the hospital for 11 days. And she had all kind of weird symptoms. She was seeing weird things. She had all kind of neurological problems. They had no idea what it was. So 3 months later, I get a phone call. Oh, you had COVID. A month after that, she gets a phone call. Oh, you pretty sure we had COVID. Well, she probably got it at the hospital. I ought to sue the crap out of her because she didn't have it before she went to the first hospital. So, because she went to the first hospital for low blood pressure. She was in there 5 days.
When my mom was dying of cancer back there in April, in the month earlier, in the hospital a lot, even since she was diagnosed 3.5 years ago, I've been in the hospital a lot with her. The one thing you notice when you're in these places is that the venting systems up in the ceiling are all connected. They're not filtered out. So let's say you're in a room and someone's 2 rooms over and they've got COVID and they sneeze and they cough. It's going to go up into those vents. It'll easily come down in your area.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, hospitals have a huge problem with that of isolation. They don't have isolation wards in a lot of hospitals. They were putting up tents. They were doing stuff like that to triage, because they were trying to mitigate the spread.
And I remember I was working on one of the hospitals. Matter of fact, I got my knee ripped out. I was working at a doctor's hospital when I was working for construction. It was a long time ago. And we were putting in the AC system, helping put in the AC system. And I said, there's not filter systems from room to room. He said, no, that's only for isolation wards. We don't have that here. And I was like, what? And it just surprised me. And then had me working on the x-ray room. So, you put up lead-lined sheetrock in the x-ray room, in case y'all know that, ladies and gentlemen. And you have to take little cups of liquid lead and pour it on the thing. Any way you put a screw in through it, you have to fill that so the radiation can't get through it. Well, when I read the instructions, it was supposed to be double line, one facing out, one facing in. They only did the one facing in. They never did the one facing out. And I was like, okay. And then I noticed 3 days later, I was running a Georgia Bucky down and getting ready to go on to put something in a dumpster, and the ramp collapsed, and I fell 2.5 stories and ripped the cartilage out of my knee. Put me in the hospital for a couple of days, and I was like,
damn.
It just kind of had this conspiratorial. I'm sure it wasn't. It just had that feel like maybe I shouldn't have asked that question. Because, we've been running on this ramp for 3 months without any problem at all. And then all of a sudden, boom, and it just happened to be me. And I was just, I don't know. But they took good care of me. They fixed up my knee, and it works pretty good these days. But
they got it out for you, man. I think that you're you got to look out, dude. No. Did you piss off Hillary Clinton lately or something, man?
Oh, that witch. That's something else we'll talk about later in the show, is that collapse in Florida. It's interesting that McAfee's had an apartment there.
Yeah.
And it's not BS. People, he actually had an apartment there. The U.S. news just shows you how good our news is. NBC and CNN say, that's fake news. Well, the Mexico news and the country where he was at, was it Brazil, wherever he was, said no, he did have an apartment there. They actually named the complex and the apartment number. So why would our news want to lie about that is beyond me, unless they thought that this wasn't an accident.
Yeah, I don't think that they'd go that far to knock off one dude.
No, but what's funny about it? They said Epstein had an apartment there too. So I don't know. All I can tell y'all for sure is I was talking to a friend of mine who's in Florida, and he said that they've been building a new building next door, and it was shaking the complex. He said he thinks that's what brought it down. He's probably right. It probably is what brought it down. They probably had some kind of structural problem, and the pounding of the driving the new pylons and putting in the new concrete rivets, the new concrete rails and all, probably is what caused that. Well, Chris, you can get in conspiracies all day, but I don't think that's what went on.
You know what happened? I'll tell you what happened. It's very corrupt down there. You also had a condo association that knew there was problems. They didn't let anyone in to do anything about it. They built 4 floors on the structure without being allowed to. I was talking to my sister about this because she's an architect and engineer, and think about Florida, man. You have sinkholes, you have water coming and going underneath. Then you have the corrosive element of the salt air. So all the rebar and concrete's crap. People think it's so strong, concrete. It's actually not. And it's porous, but then the rebar inside gets rusted, and then that starts to fall apart. It's done. It's done. That's
if you don't have the right rebar in concrete, it's going to disintegrate.
Absolutely.
And that's why you see highways and always. But why do people? When you see a blacktop highway that used to be concrete,
yep,
they just blacktopped over it because concrete is garbage. They put it out in the beginning, it works great, but after it starts to bounce around for a while, it starts to break.
Oh yeah, after New York found out they put a little bit of salt on concrete, you see what happens, man.
Oh yeah,
and it corrodes like crazy. But but also my sister added that when there's a collapse like that with all that concrete, it heats up super fast. It would actually burn any bodies involved. I mean, what it does is really amazing if you think about physics, the physics of it. You're a contractor, so I know.
And we deal with a lot of this kind of stuff. Joseph, I seen you said you had a heart condition. A good friend of mine.
That's why they can't get at people. But what surprised me about the collapse? There's no tall cranes there. They should have had a dozen cranes, or at least half a dozen, just to start pulling up those sections of the building, But I think that I mean, I don't know what they're going to do because now they got a hurricane, dude. Hurricane's coming.
It's going to flood it out too. They were all worried about that. They were talking about it today. I was just looking in the room. I seen Joseph said he had a heart condition where he's born. A friend of mine was born with 2 heart murmurs. Lived that way, by the way, for till he was 52, and finally he had to go have surgery. And it was so weird when he got out of surgery. I went to go visit him because I hadn't seen him in a while. And they had these 2 things on his shirt, on his chest. It was 2 plastic things. About he had to hold them together so that the chest would heal on its own. Kind of freaky. And I agree with you, Joe. Well, I sort of agree with you. I don't think Trump was quite as evil as Hillary. I don't think anybody is quite as evil as Hillary. Trump was, don't get me wrong, I don't think Trump was any saint or any angel by any means. I think he's a dog like you wouldn't believe. But Hillary was more, I don't know what Hillary was. Hillary's just evil. Even Bill's not as evil as Hillary was.
Hillary is the most badass assassin on the planet.
She got, what, 120, 130, 100. So this is a fact, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all go look for yourself. So, Hillary's been charged with a lot of stuff over the years, in case y'all didn't know this. So there's been 130 deaths associated with people associated to Hillary that were going to testify. Remember, the last one was a guy was named Seth, was walking home from the bar.
Seth Rich?
Yeah, found dead in the middle of the street with his watch on. Had a nice, expensive watch, had money in his wallet, had jewelry. Yep. Nothing was taken. Shot in the back of the head.
And the Hillary campaign offered him a job 2 weeks earlier. And this was the guy who was responsible for the emails. Remember, he was a Bernie guy, and he was pissed off that Hillary got the nomination. She screwed Bernie out of it. So he did that email dump. And he was going to do another one. Somebody killed him.
And away he went.
It took him, what, 3 hours to walk 20 minutes. He left the bar at 1. He was outside of his home dead at around 4. So think about that. And he was on the phone with his girlfriend. First he called his father when he left the bar. I did the whole thing, man, on my show on what time the guy left and whatever. Yeah. I think that someone picked him up. They worked him over. They probably took a ball peen hammer and cracked him on the knees and on the elbows to make him talk. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, hey, man. And then, do you think that these people's lives mean anything to Hillary Clinton?
No, they don't.
I'm not saying she did anything. I'm saying, do you think that any of these people even care about someone's life?
We need to figure out how to get Hillary on Justin Trudeau. That's what we need. Mr. Pink Shorts up there. Mr. Pink Shorts.
I heard that Justin has a bunch of dirt on Hillary, man. He's about to come out with it.
Hillary. In case you didn't know that, Justin got the dirt and he's going to come out, man. Look,
to celebrate Canada Day, he wants to flush the Clintons down the toilet. Man.
Yeah, I'd like to see. What is that, Michael? I mean, Gina, I'm sorry. No, he's we call him Mr. Pink Shorts because I caught a picture of him one day in these hot pink shorts. And then somebody sent me a picture of him wearing a hot pink shirt. I guess it was for breast cancer awareness. But, come on. You're the president or the prime minister of your country. You shouldn't be running around in hot pink shorts. I'm just saying.
If I was him, I'd be running around in a thong. I'd be like,
oh, see, Michael get his eyes on.
I'll get everything shaking at those meetings, man. Like G7, I'll add 2 more to it. Woohoo! Put on the thong. Thong.
I had no problem with them both being evil.
He's a good-looking dude. You know what? But he's got
a good-looking guy.
He's got pretty privilege because other people who are not good-looking do not have the same privilege.
But I see. I know every time we post those pictures of him and Castro, he looks so much like him. I mean, the eyes and mouth. I'm beginning to wonder, man, if it ain't true that he's not.
His daddy. Isn't that his daddy?
Yeah, that's what they say. And then you see him in one picture with Justin's mom down there standing next to Castro while he's holding the baby. I don't know, man. It looks a little guilty to me. I guess we could go ask Raul Castro if it was true or not, but I don't think he'd tell us. We could ask him.
Raul wouldn't tell you. Raul's daughter would probably tell you.
Oh, she might because she wants to take over. She wants to become part. Actually, you know why they won't let her take over? One of her friends released that she wants to become a state of America.
There you go. Good luck to them. It doesn't work for Puerto Rico.
You know what's funny, Joseph, is I never understood this, but none of the good people will ever run for president, like Elon Musk or Bezos. Any of these people would do a much better job than Joe Biden or Trump or any of them, but none of them will run. We've got really brilliant people in our country that are really changing our country, but they don't want to be president for some reason. Number one, I forgot who it was. One of the really rich guys said, they don't pay enough. Yeah, I think was it what presidents get now? 2 million a year, 1 million, 2 million a year. I think one of them said it just doesn't pay enough. He said
Who doesn't?
you're
Who
the
gets what?
CEO of the biggest productive country in the world, but yet you only made 2 million a year. He said should be making like 60 a year.
No, they get 450,000 a year, man.
No, that's Congress gets that, right? I
No,
thought
that's
it's
the
the
president
president.
of the
Oh
U.S.
God, that's just pathetic.
They make their money after they steal.
Well, yeah, they do make their money after. Well, Michael, no, they Trump didn't take a salary. He donated it to somebody.
He
I don't think.
donated. That's right, he did.
Yeah, he
Four hundred
did, and
thousand. They get 400,000 annually.
yeah, he did, and one of the other presidents, I think it was Ronald Reagan, donated his salary. Oh no, Obama didn't. He took his money. Oh no, Obama took his money. And you got to wonder how Obama was worth $1 million when he became president. What's he now? 70 million or 60 million? I'd have to go look it up to be sure. He's way up there though. Really?
Obama,
Yeah.
Obama got that deal from Netflix, and he got book deals. Michelle got book deals for hundred. I think they got hundreds of millions by now.
Damn.
Maybe they don't report it, but I mean they got to report it in some way.
Yeah, because if not, they on that non-reporting. Now that's a good segue into New York has charged President Trump's company with. So this is funny to me. This
They're
really
saying
is.
70 million, the Obama's net worth,
Oh,
but
yeah, that's what I thought it was. 67. Yeah.
but that's their personal network, not their foundation.
Yeah. So yeah, and then they don't mention that because that got Hillary in trouble. They're still in an investigation on the damn Hillary thing, but Hillary will be dead by the time they figure out how to bring charges on her. But so
Wait. So the foundation has 429,545,259 as of
which
2019.
they're not supposed to be able to touch none of. But we don't know if they are, if they aren't,
Well,
because we know Hillary.
you know that
Well,
they
we know they
did.
do because Hillary's daughter used the money to pay for her wedding.
She said it was like her personal bank account.
Yeah, I mean, so they probably are using it. That's why their other money's still steadily going up. It's just a shame that we're that way. So yeah, the Trump people got charged the other day. To New York finally, after 3 years of investigation, you know what they came up with?
Hmm.
The Trump and people, not Trump, but his people were not paying taxes on perks, not on their salaries, on where the big money is, but on perks. They weren't paying. So you just so y'all know this, people, you're not going to jail for not paying taxes on your perks. I can tell you that now. No judge is going to put you in jail for that, and if they do, a higher judge is going to overturn it because that's not something that you can say, oh, I forgot or got lost or this or whatever. They're not going to jail for that, and that's if they can prove it severely because Trump's lawyers ain't shitty. And neither of these guys. And this guy's been with Trump a long time. So
Let me say this, man. In terms of urgency, New York City is falling into the pit of despair. Shootings every day, stabbings every day, innocent people getting murdered, and De Blasio not putting any new cops on the street, no new money for police. In fact, they cut the budget. Right, Chicago, same thing. They got a horrible racist mayor. I mean, I can't believe that she gets.
pig.
Yeah, I can't believe that she gets away with the stuff that she says. It's unbelievable. But on top of that, look at the crime going on in Chicago, done by illegal guns, by the way, that they have no interest in getting off the streets. But with all these people going after Trump and tax this, and we're going to go after no taxes on the perks, there is something more important. There's loss of life, and then there's just the unbelievable amount of just the safety that's lost.
Well, what this is about? This is about keeping Trump from running next time because right now, so y'all, in case y'all didn't know this, Vegas has been predicting the elections for the last 10 years correctly, by the way. And they've got Trump coming back and winning in a landslide with the Florida governor as his VP. This is what they said. Trump's going to win and do his 4 years. Then Santos is going to come in and do 8 more years. And they agree it'll take 12 years to turn the country around to where it needs to be, whatever the hell that means. Chicago is unbelievably got racist. But so this is my other thing. So what's the little redhead's name that works for Biden? The one. So she's on TV the other day going, oh, it's the Republicans that want to defund the cops. Look, I'm not a Republican, okay? And
I never heard that ever. Imagine that, the Republicans.
I have never heard Republicans say they want to defund the police.
Never.
So there's a reporter in there calls her out on it. he starts listing Democrats who said they want to defund the police. He said, I haven't found one Republican that have said that. She said, oh, how did she say it? It's in their actions, not in their words. Bullshit.
She's
This
gaslighting.
woman is lying
Typical.
through her teeth. The
She's
whole country's looking at her
gaslighting.
going, you are
Very,
lying.
very typical.
So
Very
right
typical.
after she says that, two Democrats come right out and say, same day, well, we need to defund the cops. So they send her a letter on, and she's like, nobody said that. Really? I mean, you can't trust anything this woman says. I mean, the Biden administration, and I hate to say this, makes the Trump administration look honest, and we know it wasn't. So I'm just come on, stop it already. So the next thing, so she's trying to, again, she's arguing with this guy saying, no, the Republicans want to defund the cops. You know why this started, ladies and gentlemen, is because Trump, I mean, they're scared Trump's going to come back, but they also found out that the citizens of America don't want the cops defunded. They want the cops to change, but they don't want them defunded. They want to, what citizens of America want is a smoother, more comfortable, less aggressive police force, which I agree with. It needs to be calmed down a little bit, and it doesn't need to profile as much as it does. Now, I'm not against profiling for the simple fact that some people create more crime than others, and it's not because they're profiled, it's because they just criminals. Let's be honest about it. Some people, I agree. I don't know, Joseph, I can take another 4 years of Trump. And it's not even so much Trump as it is I'm going to have to listen to the media for 4 years, and I just don't want to hear it.
You know what
this is? I just don't want to hear it.
You know my problem with all the politics of it all? They compartmentalize. They divide people into groups. I know plenty of black people who live in predominantly black neighborhoods who are the victims of crime. And it doesn't matter who perpetrated the crime against them. It matters that it happened. It matters that they are a victim. They look the other way on those communities. Those communities in East New York, or if you go out to California, you get Watts, places like that, South Central, that they're notorious, man, for being places that you don't want to be. These are places that you don't want to even venture into by accident because you're actually in danger by being there. But why is it like that? And it's the Democrats who rule these areas. Why is it like that? Why
and there's far more racism in the blue states than the red states.
But how come they haven't made the change? How come
because
they
don't want
haven't
to?
made the change?
This helps the division. See, this is what they do. So the Democrats get up there and they play. Let's be honest. So when Lincoln decided to free the slaves, not one Democrat voted for it. In case y'all didn't know this, ladies and gentlemen, and if you're black, it's a shame on you that you know this. Not one Democrat voted for it.
It was their slaves.
So here comes Jim Crow. Not one Republican voted for Jim Crow, but the Democrats had the Congress and they passed it. Yep. So this is all Democrats. You know who repealed Jim Crow? The Republicans. You know who passed the 14th Amendment, which gave slaves the same rights as everybody else in the government? The Republicans. So it's always bothered me why blacks side with Democrats. I mean, they're treated. If you go to any blue state, blacks are treated far worse than they are in the red states.
KKK,
I never understood
man.
that. There is virtually no white or black on each other crime in the red states at all because I live in two of them.
The KKK was a Democratic organization.
It was a Democrat. Still is a Democratic organization.
So, I mean,
the head of it today is still a Democrat.
But they want to flip the switch and say, no, it's not us. But
they were smart. I got to give Democrats credit for this. Until 30 years ago, the Republicans had a lot of the media. The Democrats got smart and started buying up media. CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS. And that gives them that push out there. So they just lie. But Americans, this is the day of the internet. You don't have to listen to what they're telling you. You can go and look it up.
Yeah, they're restricted on there too. Speak your mind on Facebook, you get suspended. They take all your rights away.
Oh, that's all about to change.
They kick Trump off of Twitter completely.
Yeah, but the Supreme
Facebook
Court
too.
Yeah, but Twitter's paying for that. That costs Twitter over $200 million a year. They've been kicked out of Germany. They've been kicked out of Mexico. They've been kicked out of France.
It doesn't matter. It's the fact that they did it, man.
They did it.
It's the fact that
what
they
I
were
didn't
able
understand
to
about that, actually, they weren't supposed to be able to. There's a clause in the Constitution that says that the presidents can use the media for whatever they want, and they cannot be turned down, actually. So he could have went after Twitter and Facebook. He just didn't. I didn't understand why Trump didn't go after him. Now, Facebook said they're going to let him come back next year. He can come back. They gave him a 2-year suspension. He'll be back next year, and they're going to let him come back. The agency said there should be a permanent ban. Mark Zuckerberg said no. He overrode the agency on this. What's his face, Jack, whatever, for Twitter. He's just such a liberal snick that nobody likes the guy. He has no friends. Probably don't even have any family. His kids probably don't even like him. He's just a shit. I mean, President, or I should say, Prime Minister Merkel told him, "Don't come to my country. We don't allow people who kick presidents off anywhere in our country." Period. They're like, no, 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 no. The Mexican government basically, and the Mexican government's a liberal, and basically gave him the finger. Well, for that matter, Egon's a liberal and basically gave him the finger. They're like, no, get off. And you know what? I've never been a Twitter fan. I've always said the same thing about Twitter. Only twits use it. And it proves my point every day. Twitter is for twits. Facebook is a little different, but Twitter's for twits.
Twitter is for I don't know. You ever go on there, man? It's all these people just hating on each other. If they're fighting, strangers beating on each other, just emotionally abusing each other. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Well, it doesn't matter anyway. Every time we get 100,000 fans over there, they kick us off. I've had 3 Twitter pages shut down now. Yeah, I
like going on there and saying crap, man, and just kind of sitting back and watch people fight. It's become like kind of a hobby. Just once in a while, it's funny to be a troll.
Now to answer Chris's question, you might not see Trump. Hey, Jay, how you doing? Hey, you can join us if you want, Jay. You may not see Trump run this time. He may let DeSantis run. DeSantis. What is his name? DeSantis. He might let the Florida governor, because right now this guy is so popular, he would win in a landslide. The Democrats in his state love him, which means other Democrats are going to love him. I don't know what it is about the guy, what he's doing down there in Florida, and everybody loves him so much, but he's got an 86% approval rating. The last person in that state to have an 86% approval rating was Jeb Bush, everybody thought was going to win the primary, but somehow Trump kicked him in the balls, and it just went down the wrong way.
We didn't think so. We didn't think he was going to get it.
No, we didn't. None of us did. It was funny for us because when it started on a network, I was still hosting with Stephanie Benetti, who rest in peace, Stephanie. Her and I were like, "Oh my God, the clown's going to run. There's no way he's going to get through the primary." But I'll tell you what, both of us said when he won the primary. I mean, when he started coming up in the primary, we knew he was going to win the primary and the presidency.
He had momentum, man.
It's he just had it going.
You and Lily White called it on election night, man.
She did. She was the first one to call it. Yeah, Lily called it at. Stephanie passed away about 6 months ago.
Yeah. She got run over by a train, man, decapitated.
Oh, poor baby. She died of a heart attack at work, but.
On the train tracks.
Yeah, Stephanie and I were good friends for a long time until she started drinking, and then we had to kind of
alcoholism, man. It destroys people's lives.
But we were really, really. Don't get me wrong. My wife used to tell me all the time, "Hey, what is that? Your second wife?" I mean, that's how much time I used to spend with Stephanie. And then
you guys used to fight like husband and wife.
Yeah, we did too. I'm not kidding you. But the last 6 months of our friendship, she really started drinking heavy. And she had a lot of reasons why. Her dad had gotten Alzheimer's. Her mom had heart issues. Both her dogs were about to die. She had a lot going on, and she didn't have anyone in her life, And the only person she had to bitch at was me, and I was only going to take it for so long. And it wouldn't have mattered if she'd have kept it private, but she had to start bitching at me on air, and that was, it started hurting the show at that point. So I was like, you got to go, Steph. I love you, but you got to go. And I miss her. Don't get me wrong. I still do. I miss her. She was a good friend and a good confidant, and I hate to see her go the way she did.
When people have adversity in their lives and then they take alcohol in as a crutch, they start taking their anger out on the people around them, that even the people that love them the most, they'll take their anger out or put a wedge between you even, because then they realize they don't want to hurt that person, So she drifted away from all of us. She was a badass, man. I mean, Stephanie was a badass.
She did a lot of good work for the station. She called the host.
She knew her facts. She was great on the radio.
Too, yeah. And when we did radio together, she knew her stuff. She didn't play around. And what was good with Stephanie was not only was she good with her facts, but we used to do a lot of satire together. And she was good for that. We could do a lot of comedy, a little satire, political satire. And it was really, we had a good time. And I've had a hard time replacing that show since then. It's hard to replace her. She was a good host. But it's and to have a female host that a male can bounce back off with like that is tough to start off with anyway. But she was good.
You haven't been able to replace her since, man.
That's true. I haven't found somebody I found some people, but no one I thought was good enough to replace.
Nobody of that caliber, man.
Maybe subconsciously.
She reflected you well. I mean, towards the end, she got crazy, like you said, but But you guys had a good
Oh,
dynamic,
man,
man.
the show was on its way to being syndicated, and I told it, I said, Steph, just hold it together. We've got big companies looking to syndicate this show because it was a 4 hour show. It was well thought out. It had special clips in it. We had quarterly things. We had we had the world news. It was just well done, and trying it's hard. It's just hard. She worked hard. I'm not going to say she didn't. She busted her ass to make that show good. So did I. And we spent a lot of time together, but in the end, she just couldn't keep it together. And it's I don't say it's her fault. I just say it's just the conditions of her life, and sometimes shit piles up and it gets to be too much, and that's where it went on her. But anyway,
She called me 4 o'clock in the morning and be like, "You sexy beast, why don't you come down to have some Chinese food?" And she would take a picture of her feet, like she would do her toenails, and she lived down the street from that
that
Chinese
sounds like
food
fun.
place, and she would take a picture of her like feet. So,
She's crazy.
I'm like, I'm 5 hours away from you, man.
Yeah,
I
she's
do like Chinese food, though,
yeah,
man.
Chinese food good. Actually, she's a pretty good cook. She used to cook all the damn time. She kind of somebody else and one of our other hosts reminds me of the way they cooking all the time. I'm not going to mention their name.
Italian, man. She made this
Yeah,
homemade sauce and all that.
yeah,
Yeah,
she's
man.
good. She's a good Italian girl. And actually, Mike, we're just getting ready to get into that in a minute. But so since we've been talking about that, we've been talking about the news. So we're going back to what's her name? What is that redheaded chick's name?
Saki.
Yeah, so here she is again screaming about the Democrats don't want to defund the police, but the Republicans do, which everybody knows is a lie. And
All right.
anybody who watches any news media, even CNN and CBS and all, been carrying defund the cops for I don't know 8 or 9 months now, maybe even longer since Obama. But so she's screaming at, going on and on and on and on and on, and she's busted because right after she said it to her, the Democrats came out and said, yeah. So there's been about 14 Democrats that have actually said defund the cops. Now, unfortunately for them, the citizens, there was been what happened was the Democrats did this without checking with the people, which was stupid on their part. So the Democrats decided to do it. So the Democrats did a poll. A big polling company did a poll, and then I think somebody else did one. So the poll came back for the Democrats that 80% of everyone they polled did not want to defund the police. So Republicans, it's almost 90% didn't want to defund the police, and the nation was 86% didn't want to defund the police. So they effed up. They realized that, oh, we don't want to defund the police because nobody wants crime in their neighborhoods. And
Right.
if you defund the police, you're going to get crime in your neighborhood. So as Mike was saying, New York and Chicago are finding this both out right now because they defunded the police hard and they're dealing with the same problems now. AOC is crazy. And I don't know if she's going to make this term. She's got a pretty good somebody running against her pretty hard this time. So we'll see what happens. This guy's really going after her, and he's really starting to put out the stuff that she's done that's really crazy. Hey, Sean, what's up, babe? Uh,
They're blaming the crime spike. The Democrats are blaming the crime spike on COVID-19.
what idiots.
Yeah, but there's a spike in violence and crime in most major cities right now, especially the blue states.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately,
So this is
you
a
know,
good segue into something else. So BLM in the states BLM protested crime against blacks went down 40% by police officers. This is a fact. But what they didn't bother to tell you is crime went up altogether 86%
yeah,
altogether. So stuff was going on in the neighborhoods. So what happened was is the cops just stopped patrolling. That's why the crime went down against the blacks because the cops just stopped patrolling. But because they stopped patrolling, crime went as LA's finding out, and New York. I mean, Chicago's finding out, and New York is finding out that it's crazy now. It's really really high. The crime rates are high. New Orleans is it's got the same issue, but and even though our mayor is from Compton, she don't want to defund the cops. She's like, well, we ain't defunding the cops. Do you know how much shit we go on in this city? We can't defund the cops, Lord, because just Mardi Gras alone, what are you going to do with no cops? Oh God, I can just imagine. And right now we got Jazz Fest, we got Essence Fest, we got all kind of crap going on.
so
You know,
here's Newsweek, big liberal publication, right, saying just 38% of Americans approve of Biden's response to crime spike. It's interesting because you're seeing these lib publications; they're all attacking Biden and Kamala now.
Oh yeah.
Very interesting what's going on. I think they can't stop. I think that they're to the point where they're so extreme in their nature, and Biden's not. Neither is Kamala.
Yeah.
Biden voted for the crime bill back in 1994, and then Kamala was a prosecutor who put tons of people in prison. I mean, these aren't really the dippy liberals that they thought they were.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
never thought they
I
were.
know, Sean.
You
I
were
heard
right.
like
You said that Biden was going to run the show how he wanted to,
Yeah.
but he's nuts.
He is nuts. I said that in the beginning too.
That's
Everybody
the
gave me
problem.
trouble. Everybody was like, "No, he's going to be controlled by this." I said, "I'm telling you, this guy was angry because he had to be Obama's VP. He wanted to be president. He didn't want to be VP." And I said, "If he ever gets to be president, he's going to be an ass and do the things he wants to do."
Right.
The problem is he forgets what he's doing every 5 minutes.
So here it is right here. Bail reform contributing to crime spike, right? So bang, you got that. I mean, there's things, obviously, if you try to defund the police, less cops on the street, and then you give the green light to criminals, they can do what they want to do. In Ithaca, they're trying to disarm the police officers, take their guns away. There's criminals walking around with guns, man. What do you think?
Well,
They're going to feel?
you know what they're going to do? They're going to quit.
Yep.
Where was it just recently? Oregon, 44 cops walked off the job. 44 in Portland just walked off the job.
Yep.
They said, "You want to do it like that? Fine." Now, in case y'all didn't know, Portland has become the biggest shithole on the West Coast. It's like living in Chicago now, and people are leaving. And a good friend of mine said, "I don't understand." In case y'all didn't notice, ladies and gentlemen, just so you don't know, and this is why the Democrats are so scared. They've already lost a House and a Senate before the election. They've lost 11 seats because of people leaving New York and California and Chicago and going to red states. So I think it's 9 or 10 seats that they're picking up in the House and 1 or 2 seats that they're picking up in the Senate. They've already lost. I mean, it gives the Republicans the majority before the election even starts. And people aren't real happy with the Democrats right now. So I don't know what's going to go on. I mean, wages aren't going up like they said they were going up. They can't get minimum wage raised. And nobody, when you poll the country about the filibuster law, nobody wants it changed. Not even most of the Democrats, because they all know what's going to happen. And so y'all know this. This is great. I caught an episode of what's the crazy white-headed guy for Fox? Oh, what is that asshole's name?
Which one?
He used to come on after Rush.
Hannity?
Yeah, Hannity.
Yeah.
So Hannity's on. I caught him on the radio coming home today. And I'm like, I'm getting ready to turn it off. And then he goes, "Did y'all know that the Democrats used to filibuster 818 times in the last 5 years?" And why? So why do they want to get rid of it? Because this is the problem. They know the Republicans are going to take over.
Right.
What they're hoping is that they can take the filibuster law away, change the voting rules, and then they won't have to worry about it. But nobody's real happy. When you poll the country, 87% of Americans think you should have an ID.
All right, so across the U.S., there was 25% more murders recorded in 2020 than the previous year. 25%, man.
It's a big increase.
That's huge.
It is. That's a big increase. And I don't know what they're going to do about this. And so now that kind of segues us into the next part of this show. So we all know that Nancy Pelosi put together a team of people to go after the insurrection, as she calls it. There was no insurrection. Insurrection means that, going to try to take over the country. I don't know how that little group of people could have ever tried to take over the country. That's just ridiculous to me. So she's going on. So now we know for a fact that the person who died there was not killed by any of the people that were there rioting. Nobody killed anybody. They're not sure who killed him, but it wasn't any of the people from the rioters. They've already proven that now. Also, the Washington police confessed and said they were told to stand down by someone in the Democratic Party.
Of course, they let people walk right past them.
So they were. This was intentional.
They wanted it.
Yeah.
They wanted to put a show on, and then to see, look at Trump's people. They're so horrible. They walked in the building. Blah 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 blah. They asked for it. They wanted it, and they did it. They nearly manufactured it. But they took advantage of an opportunity in their mind.
So I'm listening today to this guy. He's a liberal going on and on about how they did this. So he's going, they killed that guy. They did this, and somebody called and said, no, they didn't kill the guy. Stop lying. None of what you're saying is true. He said, yeah, they came in and destroyed some property. He said, but BLM did that just 6 months early. He said, so I don't know why we're not investigating them. So that segues into this. So in the last 9 months of BLM protests, they caused $2.2 billion in damage. At least 100 cops were injured. and there was 25 deaths. Now, whether those 25 deaths were directly related to BLM, they happened to die when they were going on. So why are we investigating them? Why are we investigating the head of the BLM who bought 3 multi-million-dollar homes in New York? What's going on here? I mean, so now Nancy's putting her own head on a chopping block, but she also said she's not seeking re-election in the next election, which is a year away. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe she wants to just try to stir the pot before she gets out. I don't know. So she says, we're going to have bipartisan. We're going to put Liz Cheney on. Liz Cheney is not bipartisan. Liz Cheney hated Trump. And she is no way a bipartisan person. And worse than that, and I sent this on her webpage. I said, Cheney, do you know your dad is probably rolling over in his grave right now? Darth Cheney was a hardcore GOP, and he believed in what he was doing. And if he could see you now, he'd probably shoot a lightning bolt up your ass. There's no way her daddy would approve of this. No way whatsoever would he think anything she's doing is funny. That's why we called him Darth Cheney. I mean, he's the one who ran the country, not Bush. It's why it ran halfway decent, because Darth Cheney was running it. I call him Darth Cheney, people, because first off, the man had to get a heart. The man got a new heart while he's in office and went right back to work like nothing was going on. I was like, Jesus, this dude is evil for sure. I mean, come on. But he would not approve of what his daughter's doing. And that's why I said that. And I noticed after I said that, quite a few other people were saying, he's right. Your daddy would not approve of this. He's probably rolling over his grave. So maybe she'll take it to heart. Probably not. But she wants the limelight, you know. But the Republicans said they're going to take her off of every committee because of this. They're going to take her off of every committee. They said, nope, that's your punishment. You want to turn on the party? You're off of every committee on the party's got. Adios amigos. So we're going to investigate what went on Jan 6, but we're not going to investigate when BLM came in. In case y'all don't know, BLM did breach the building and didn't go inside, in case y'all didn't know this. They did do that. They also took over Wall Street for how long? 6-9 months?
They burned down police stations?
Yeah. Then in Oregon, they took over, 14 blocks for like 7 months? I mean, what's going on here?
People died. They killed
2 people died there. Yeah, 2 people died there. And then one guy had to save a guy as a bunch of liberals were beating the shit out of him, trying to kill him. Some guy got out with a gun and said, get off him, I'm going to kill you. And that's facts, people. So a bunch more people get killed in BLM. Way more money got destroyed. Way more property got destroyed. But we're not investigating that. We're going to investigate a couple. So this kind of looks racist now. You know, it looks like a racist thing, or a bigotry thing. You want to hate on some rednecks, some white rednecks. It's really looking racist now. So one of the guys from the group said, you know what, we're going to sue because it does look racist. You're picking on a group because they're white and from the country, but you're not going after BLM because they're black. Oh, no, that's racist, my friend, any way you look at that. And what's getting me is, on TikTok, you ought to see how many black people come out for Trump. I'm not even sure I won. I mean, he got 18% of black vote and 36% of Hispanic vote, which nobody's done before. He got more votes than any president in history. They picked up more seats in the House, but yet somehow he lost. Even the media was kind of like, huh? And now we found out there was voter fraud in Georgia. There was voter fraud in Arizona. There was voter fraud in Pittsburgh. That's actually enough states to overturn the election. They're pretty sure it was in 2 other states, but I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Don't think the election's going to get overturned. For all my redneck crazy friends out there who think y'all going to get Trump in, it ain't going to happen. The Democrats got control, and they're not going to give up control unless something just falls out of heaven. It ain't going to happen. Don't get your hopes up because the Democrats have control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency. You're not going to get Trump back in. Even if you proved outright that they cheated and you could prove it, there would just have to be a new election. And that's what happened for 2 years.
Biden's only going to adjust the plan. He's sticking basically with what Trump laid out. Even the withdrawal of troops and all that, he's basically sticking with the whole plan. The tariffs, things like that, and the economy. He can't. He's not the kind of person. It's not even him. Let's face it. It's the machine behind him. They want to keep the economy rolling. They want to because they know if it crashes and burns, that they're done, right? And the Republicans are going to push their way back in again. but they want to make it appear like they're doing okay. And I think that they wanted to, hey, take the masks off. We can reopen everything. Look, we beat COVID. I think that was going to be the message, right? Until this variant popped up, that was going to be Biden's message. We vaccinated people. We beat COVID. They said the same thing in India right before that the
Yeah,
variant
before they went
exploded,
crazy. Yeah.
and they were killing people. 4,000 or 5,000 people a day were dying.
Well, I see somebody, one of the NBC reporters called Biden out on the COVID thing. He said, yeah, we're up to 2.5, 3. He said something. He said Trump was already up to 1.5 million when he left office. He said, so don't act like you're the one that done this. This was his. He said all the military stuff and all this Trump put in effect. You didn't change any of that.
No,
He said,
nothing.
so don't. He said you're taking credit for Trump stuff.
Right.
He said, what did you do to make COVID go away faster? He said, what are you going to do to all these people? He said, 150 million people that haven't
Biden did
vaccinated.
give Trump credit initially. I mean, he did say that it was Trump that got the vaccines going. Pelosi doesn't want to hear that. All those guys, I mean, you got even people like AOC not even admitting there's a crime spike. She had to go back. She used numbers going back to 1990 until now to say that crime was actually going down. Oh my God. And then that's her own city, her own hometown, where people are getting shot. 200 murders so far in New York City this year, and we're 7 months into the year.
I'm gonna go find the guy. I'm gonna go find the guy's name that's running against. Well, who sent me this? Flashback 2020, 6 months of Antifa, BLM looting, rioting, and chaos. Yeah, that's actually true. And they tore up all kind of stuff. They burned it. They had to send the damn Fed out to keep the courthouse from Oregon from being burned down.
Mm-hmm.
It's just ridiculous. What do you mean? I hate black people. What the hell are you talking about? I got so look. I don't even know. You must be some crazy old white cracker. No black person would think that. No, dude. I got a lot of black friends. I've actually helped them set up BLMs. I work press for them. I've even told them places they needed to go, so you can get over that. And I said, I've got black hosts, black friends, black contractors, black subcontractors. Get over yourself. I live in a city where I live in a population that's actually more blacks than white. I think you're an idiot. Now you can say whatever you want. Well, no, Trump got all the vaccines going. He's the one that gave the emergency order to get Pfizer, Moderna, and all that. He's the one that got them approved and going. What can you do? Oh, you are. Hold on, I'll send you. Let me see if I can find you. Let me grab an invite thing. I got to find the invite thing. There it is. And then I'll find you. I'm gonna send it to you on your Facebook page. I think I got it somewhere, Jay. Hold on, I'll go find it. I have a Facebook account. I'm going to go open a Facebook. I thought I had Facebook open a minute ago. Oh man, there's so many weirdos running around in our country. Oh, I see you right there, Jay. Good man. Y'all don't know Jay McGill. He co-hosts with Jeffrey on the Church of Mavis on Friday nights. Church was off tonight. I think Jeffrey was out chasing. I don't know what Jeffrey was out chasing. I don't want to say because he's got a woman now, so I don't want to get him in trouble. He was chasing fireworks. There we go. That's what he was doing. He was chasing fireworks. A lot of good stuff going on these days, and you got to keep up with all the news. But people, and I'm going to tell you, read between the lines. Just don't use one news source, and don't use. Okay, so you got to go listen to liberal news. That's fine. Then go listen to some conservative news. That's fine. But find something in the middle somewhere, like us or one of the other middle. Somebody who's looking at both sides. Because if you're not looking at both sides, you're not getting the true story. You're really not. You're just getting a bunch of propaganda from one side or the other. No, the GOP shows just as much propaganda as the liberals do. People, there's a difference though. For some reason, the GOP's propaganda has been lighter the last few years. And what I mean is, it's been less harmful to the nation. The Democrats have kind of slid into this socialist, communist, this thing where they think that they kind of a lot of times matter of fact, just put this in perspective. I was listening to Nancy Pelosi the other day, and I'm thinking, God, am I listening to Xi Jinping? I swear, I thought I was listening to Ping. I mean, it was just sheer propaganda. I was like, come on, And then, and what bothers me the worst about this is, so Xi Jinping comes out the other day and says Anyone who opposes us will smash their heads against the wall and make it bloody. I'm thinking, really? You want to smash? Come on, boy. If you want to try, you might outnumber us. We will even the playing field in just one day. You obviously read on when they tell you, oh yeah, well, there's 500 million less Chinese today. That's a true story. I mean, it's a true statement because that's how it'll happen. You'll see 2 submarines pop up, bloop, and 28 missiles will come out, and half of China will be gone that afternoon. So the playing field will be equal. And America's not like it used to be.
It's not going to go down like that. I'll
We
tell you
actually
how it's going to go
interceptors
down.
now. Okay.
Right now, China and India are massing armies for each other. They want to have a massive war with each other. That's the road that they've been on for a long time. And at some point, it'll break out. And that's how we'll fight them, through proxy, like we do.
Most of the time we do. But
how you doing, Jay?
Hey, good, Mike. How are you?
Good.
Jay's bringing his sexy self on with us.
You could call him Ray, but you could call him Jay. But he doesn't have to call him McNichols.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. My dad actually went to college with that fella. They were basketball cheerleaders throwing the girls up in the air.
I met that dude one time at a club, man, years ago. Isn't that funny?
That's cool.
He's a cool little dude. I'm 6'5", so to me he was little.
Yeah.
So
he's a small dude.
we sitting here talking. So I pulled up political fact. God, I can never say that.
What?
So the first thing they say is there is no proof that Black Lives Matter killed 36 people or injured 1,000 cops. Okay, well, I have to agree with that. I don't think they injured 1,000 cops. I think it was closer to 100. I don't think it was 36 people. It was more like 25. But still, PolitiFact don't want to go any further. They're scared to actually talk about what actually went on in all these riots and protests. Because once you start talking about it, okay, so we'll do it the right way. We'll go New York City. When they took over Wall Street, there was 14 women raped, 2 people killed. That's fact. So we're not even talking about that. Oh, they want to talk about that. Okay, let's switch over to Chicago. BLM
that wasn't BLM, though. That was those hippies, man, that took over the Wall Street. And remember, they ended up they ended up making their camp in Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank. Let them use their lobby.
What the hell was their name though? It was the guys with the mask, man. Oh, now I can't think of the damn name. Right,
starts with an F.
Oh God, it went right out of my head too. It's but it doesn't matter if it's BLM or not. They don't want to talk about it. That's something that actually went on that was never investigated. Nobody ever went to jail over it. Even though all these women made claims. Oh, you mean Bill Cosby did 14 rape women? Shh, that's bad. Okay, this bad. I don't mean Cosby. Don't even get me started on Cosby because I got 2 sides on Cosby. Bad Cosby and good Cosby.
It was the Occupy Wall Street.
It was Occupy Wall Street, but it was the guys with used to wear the white mask, the hackers and all.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't think of their names, but they did it. But when BLM went and protest up there, there was still another 4 or 5 people reported being raped. There was something like I think it was $25 or $30 million of damage, and 1 person was killed. And the person they don't know if it was an accident or it was intentional. They found him dead under a car, so they don't know if it ran over him or somebody slid him under there. What the hell happened? Slide over to Chicago, 3 guys were burned to death. What bothered me about the BLM thing in Chicago was they were burning black businesses. What the hell? Anonymous. Thank you, Amelia. So it was anonymous. So you get in Chicago, so I'm thinking, why are you burning black businesses, you dumbasses? These are the only people on your side. I mean, what the hell? And you know what really bothered me more about BLM than anything else? Did you ever notice the majority of people that were protesting were white? They weren't white. They were like yuppies or whatever you call them today, Z-Genners and early.
Well, they made $500 million.
Bleeding heart liberals is what you call those guys.
$500 million.
Yeah.
And that girl bought those houses. She bought mansions.
She bought 3 in New York. Yeah, one was 4.4 million, one was 2.5, and I forgot what the other one was. I'm thinking, really?
Well, what are they doing? What have they done for anyone? What have they done for anyone?
Nothing for blacks.
I can tell you this much. I was looking at this the other night, and I don't think that they've done a lot of charity work their charity is to help black and brown people to do whatever they need to do. But the charity is
shit. Give me some help.
Yeah, they're under a cease and desist order in the state of California right now. So they can't get any money. They're under a cease and desist order. They cannot petition for donations right now. California is investigating them for certain crimes, like the lady that bought the mansions, and she's got a book deal and a movie deal coming out and or a TV show, something like that. So whatever they were supposed to do, they haven't been doing. So they're under investigation by the Attorney General of California. So
well, they need to be, because
we'll see about what happens there.
And I'm sure there'd be an investigation by other but that's like New York. So New York's trying to probe Trump in the ass for 3 years now. They're not talking about Biden's son at all, which goes through New York. They don't want to talk about BM at all. They don't even mention AOC, and then we find out about de Blasio's daughter. I mean, all these people should be investigated, but for some reason, and then we got crazy Omar that nobody sanctions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
when people are young and stupid, that's fine. You got, when you're young, you're a liberal. When you get older, you turn conservative. Usually, I don't blame them for anything, because I'd be doing the same thing, man. And in fact, I did the same type of stuff, but I didn't burn down police stations, and I respected.
Because we went to jail. That's why.
When you're trying to win people over from a protest, the last thing you want to do is destroy things and hurt people. I mean, that sends the wrong message.
It does send the wrong message, and it gives. And I tried to explain to some people, it gives the cops the rights to come after you. Then.
Sure.
Cops can't mess with you when you're protesting, because nobody wants the cops involved. But when you start hurting other people, then you give the cops the right to get involved. But like Oregon, I mean, most of the cops quit. I don't know what's going on in Portland. I wanted to go visit a friend of mine who lives in Portland. No, it ain't never happening now.
It was like 116 degrees there right now.
Yeah. Plus, they got really strict gun restrictions, and they won't let me bring Martha with me. So
man, you can't bring your pistol?
You can bring it with you, but they want you to have like 2 rounds or some shit. Martha's got a 20-round one clip. Actually, I got a 34-round for it too. But Martha's badass. She don't take no names, man. She said, "You got sassy with my husband." Pow! Whoops. Sorry, you're no longer in this world. Maybe we'll see you in the next one. But down here, it's so funny. Just a couple of quick stories. So, I do carry my gun open carry, concealed sometimes. But in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas, and Alabama, you can carry open concealed. You can carry it on your hip without no problems. So I'm walking through Walmart one day. I went to go pick up some prescriptions for my wife. 2 different people stopped me. I'm thinking, so, when they do, I slide my hand over my gun, because, just in case someone gets stupid wants to grab my gun. Sean, you can join us anytime, baby. You're always welcome. So one guy's like, "Man, it's so nice to see someone walking around who would really protect us." He said, "I bet you was in the service, weren't you?" I said, "You damn right I was." And then I'm standing in line a few minutes later, checking out, and this old skinny ass bald head guy goes, "Oh man, that thing looks badass." He said, "I guess if somebody tried to hold us up, you'd take him out." I said, "In a heartbeat, I would." I said, "Wouldn't even ask no questions." I said, "You want what?" Pow! Oh, no, you don't now. And I know my rights as a citizen, and it's just one of those things that you got to be careful. So, like, I'm in D.C., right? I fly into D.C. to go film with Prometheus Entertainment. So I bring my other gun with me. And I'm at the airport. I'm getting my gun. And 3 different people, "Why are you bringing that gun to D.C.?" I said, "Because of people like you." And they just backed up away from me. And I said, "It's not your business. Back your ass up away." And that's what they did. They backed up. And, once I got it from them, I took it out of the case and clipped it and put it on inside, because I had a permit to carry concealed. And I'm in D.C., but D.C.'s got like a 6-round clip or something, 7-round. I know I had to take 1 bullet. I remember I had to take 1 bullet out of my clip. And, now you can't even put bullets in the gun. You can't put bullets on an airplane anymore. You know what their shitting excuse is? "Oh, they might explode accidentally because of the pressure ratio." I'm thinking. So I remember when the guy told me this. I looked up at him. I said, "Dude," I said, "don't take this the wrong way. I used to work on fighter jets." I said, "There are no pressurizations in fighter jets cockpits underneath." I said, "They're carrying a shitload of bullets and way bigger ones. Guess what? They never explode."
There's usually an air marshal on the plane anyway. They have a gun.
Yeah. But I didn't ask to carry the gun on the plane. I put it in its case and put it in the suitcase. So, you put it in the suitcase. You got to tell them it's in there, and they take it out and they make sure it's not loaded. And then they put an orange tag on it. And they put it back in your suitcase, and away it goes. No big deal. And
do you know why they put that orange tag in there, Joe?
Yeah, so you know what's in there.
It shows up on X-rays. So the next time you go through an X-ray machine, that orange tag will shine through whatever box you have it in, unless it is lead lined.
Yeah, and it was fine. I had no problem. I took it out to Cali and all, and I brought it out to Vegas with me. My gun's been, not the new one, but the old one's been in quite a few states. And when I'm driving with it, I got 2 1, but I got one on the side where I keep it. But I just got me a thing that clips underneath my steering wheel. So the gun holds it, right? And all you do is push and pull, and the gun's loaded. I love this little thing. It's badass. And, you know,
You're
and I
so
used to make,
happy with that thing, man.
well, because
I like it. You know, you're like a kid at
I am.
Christmas. He's like,
It's my baby. And I'm getting ready to buy a 45. And because I was trained with in the Navy was with a 45. And one of my customers is trying to sell me. He's got a nice one. And but the thing of it is, I only got it
45
because
ACP or
yeah,
45 Magnum.
Magnum. But anyway, I
Go
wasn't gonna,
for the 10 millimeter,
I
man.
wasn't I
That's
wasn't
the
gonna
big
go.
boy.
There it is. I wasn't gonna buy another gun. And then all of a sudden, so this is New Orleans. Three of my friends. One friend's on St. Charles and Poydras, one of the richest parts of town there is. Boom, gets carjacked. Another one of my friends right outside the Canal Boulevard gets carjacked. So a friend of mine owns a club downtown. He's driving home one night. Somebody outside the interstate just pops around, shoots it through his car, hits him in the shoulder. He drove himself to the hospital. Crazy bastard that he is. So I decided, nah, you know what? So my son got him a 9mm Glock. He's got a Glock 19, and I got the Canik TP9. It's a specialty gun. It's really for competition. That's what it's really for. Now, I just bought a new laser sight for it, so y'all better watch out, people. And I just, I don't want to have to use it, but I have a big family and a lot of friends, and if I got
Who are
to,
you
I will
shooting
use it.
these? Who are you going to shoot? You're like threatening to shoot people. I'm thinking like,
I
who
won't
are you
shoot
going to shoot,
anybody.
man?
I don't want to have to
I
shoot
think Jay and
anybody.
I got to watch out.
Actually, I'm with Joe 100%, Mike. I've moved to the state of Pennsylvania, which has an open or a constitutional concealed carry law coming up on the books. They're open carry like Texas, Alabama, most states down there.
Good state.
And I'm definitely going to take the opportunity to use that right to carry open. I don't know what the laws are here in Pennsylvania yet, but when I was in Georgia, I worked at a rifle and pistol range, and I always wore a gun at the range. You never know if someone's going to try to rob the office.
Yeah, it's a good place to carry one too.
Oh yeah. Well, I always carried two because people wanted to see one gun. I kept another one on the small of my back in case I'd give them the unloaded gun, and if they tried to load it, I'd be like, stop. But I saw the movie Lethal Weapon 4, and Mel Gibson had a Crimson Trace handle laser on his Beretta 9. So I got that same thing. So I have a shoulder holster rig for that, 2 clips, plus one in the gun, and then I can turn the laser on and off. So wherever that laser points, that's where the bullet is going. In Georgia, with a concealed carry permit, and it may be the same with your permit too, Joe. On the back, it says that if I am witness to a felony crime, that while I'm carrying my gun, I am obligated by the license to stop that crime from happening.
Oh yeah, and it's pretty much the same down here. And it's funny because Mississippi, you don't have to have a permit. Louisiana, you do. For conceal, but not for now. Louisiana's getting ready to get rid of that concealed permit, and but the reason Louisiana wanted the concealed permit is they thought that everyone should have training for a gun. And I remember when I called him about it, he goes, well, you need to have training. I said, dude, that's special forces in the Navy. He said, never mind. He said, you don't waive yours. And he said, when you didn't have to be special forces, he said, just in the Navy, we know everybody has to use. Because that's what I was trained with a 45. So, well, it's funny. The first 45 they gave us was a 45 modified 22. And it was so funny when he gave it to me. I'm sitting there, pow, 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 pow. He said, you're going through the red every time. I said, it's a 22. Pow, pow, pow. I said, geez, I could do this with my eyes closed. And he said, dearly, I went like that. Pow, pow, pow. Well, I said, that's still right on target. He's like, so he said, yeah, he got me the real one out. And I was like, pow, 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 pow. Still, I was right there. And he's like, damn, I said, dude, I grew up in the bayou, man. Come on. I said, we grew up with guns. I said, we all own guns, pistols, rifles. I said, my grandfather said, you carry your pistol with you for this, you carry your rifle with you for this. And it's true. And it's how we were raised. And, my son's good. He goes to range with his all the time. He's learned how to shoot. He's actually gotten quite good with the Glock. He can put all 19 of them through your ass with no problem at all. But, I like the laser sight. Now, the new one I got for the Canik, I got to send it back. It's not the right kind. I got the optical one, which I really like. But it's not, for some reason, it doesn't fit on the top of the gun right. So I'm going to send it back and get a different one. But they're cool. They're cool sights. And my son's got the undermount laser, the under mounts underneath. Mine actually mounts on top, and it's got the little scope thing you look through on it.
Lasers are cool. I also, I have a red dot. I got a little red dot scopes, pretty good. You can put them on a pistol, you can put them on a rifle. But when my rifles, I like iron sights, man. I like the old ways.
I do too.
I tried using scopes, and it's just nothing. But I don't know. It just takes a lot of time out of you with those iron sights, especially on a good rifle. you're going to be right on, man, every time. And it's got extra rail if you want to put like a laser on the bottom. In New York, you're not allowed to use laser or any of that stuff, But I'll say the 3 states that have the worst gun violence is New York State, is Illinois, is California, that have the strictest gun laws. And all the gun violence, 95% of it there is with illegal guns. So, but that's how the Democrats make their case against legal gun owners. Like, if someone loses their shit and they go out and they shoot people, oh, well, they bought that gun legally, but that person had mental problems. And when we have a huge mental issue in the United States of America that we're not addressing, we're not doing anything about it. Frank Zappa said the biggest challenge to the future was mental health in the United States of America. He was right, man, 100%.
But it's so funny because you hear him always bitching about, and this is what cracks me up. Gun violence is actually down; it's not up. It's steady. It's steady been going down for almost 18 years now.
Look at the guy in Germany who killed a bunch of people with a knife. The guy from Somalia who decided he didn't want to be there, or whatever he decided. I mean, they took him in, took care of him. He takes a knife and kills a bunch of people, man. Just like that.
I've always said this. They better hope that some special forces person never decides to go on a shooting spree, because it's going to be hell. I mean, I watched the guy, the Texas suppository guy, or Texas guy at the Texas thing. He killed 22 people from the tower. He wasn't even trying. He just with a bolt action. And that's what I grew up with, using a bolt action 30-06. I kill your ass in a mile with that thing. But when I got my marksman's, my sharpshooters, and my sniper's badge in the military, I used 3 different guns to get them too, and they were all impressed. They tried to get me to join when I got out there, trying to get me to join the SWAT team. I'm like, hey, no way. I said, look, people, y'all don't understand. I learned all this in case I have to use it. I don't want to have to kill anybody. I said, if you make me, I will. If you threaten my family or threaten me, yes, I will kill your ass. I said, but I don't want to have to. That's the problem. I don't want that on my conscience the rest of my life. I had to kill somebody for whatever reason. But don't get me wrong, people. I will shoot your ass if you screw up my family. It's so funny. My wife, we broke down one night. We actually got a flat tire in this really, really bad neighborhood. And we were on the side of the interstate. And I walked out, I loaded the gun, and I handed my wife the gun. And my wife's a pretty good shot. And I handed it to her. I said, look. I said, if anyone walks up to this car, you shoot them first. Don't ask any questions. Just shoot them. I said, because they ain't coming here for any good reason.
What if it's like a cop?
The cop wasn't a shot. You didn't have to worry about that.
Triple A,
Cops don't even go in this neighborhood, my friend. Triple A don't either, for that matter, because all the parts would have been stolen off their vehicle in less than an hour. Only thing that happens in that neighborhood, when you park on the side of the road, you each come strip your car in about 10 minutes. And I said, and it was funny. You seen these 4 guys in his car, they were going to pull up, and they see my wife standing with the gun. They just went on around. I knew what they were up to. And a couple of weeks later, I'm taking one of my friends to the French Quarter. And I was getting ready to get on the interstate, and this Cadillac full of guys pulled up. It was black guys from a different state. And they said, hey, you know how to get to the quarter? I said, yeah, come on, I'll show you how to get there. I said, just follow us up there. And so we're cruising. So I punch it on the interstate. I'm in the truck, and I just punch it. And he's a big guy, big old whatever monster motor in his Cadillac. So he's right behind me. All of a sudden, this guy on Monte Carlo's pointing at me, doing all this shit, and then he sticks his badge to the window. I'm like, shit. So I'll pull over, and I'm sitting there, and he walks up to the car and he just smacks me in the face with the badge. And he's lucky because I had my gun like this. I had it in my hand sitting, pointed at my door. And my friend Ricky's looking at him. He's shaking his head like, so he's going on and on and on and on. And I'm thinking, are you a real cop or not? Are you just, I said, let me see your fucking badge, dude. I said, I don't believe you're a cop. And the brothers, I guess they got scared. They just punched it and went around because, this guy pulls out 2 guns. And when he did, I said, dude, you put your guns up, you're not going to make it back to your car. I said, just what I told you. I said, if you don't put them up, I said, you're not. I said, I got a 45 point right through the door. You will not make it back to your car. I said, if you want to bring the state troopers out here, you call them right now. I said, because they didn't have cell phones back then. We had beepers. And I said, but you're not going to make it back to your car if you don't put them 2 guns down. So he kind of got all red-faced, and he slid him back in, and he went and jumped back in his car. So I was expecting for the cops to show up at my house. I didn't see nobody for 2 days, so I called the NOPD and told them what happened. And he was a cop that had gotten fired. So they said, well, would you press charges? I said, in a heartbeat, I'll press charges.
You sure it wasn't Elvis Presley? Because I know he was pulling people over. Was he in a Ferrari? Because he was pulling people over in his Ferrari for a while.
He's some guy. He was in a nice Monte Carlo, all souped up and shit. But,
did you know that about Elvis Presley? He actually was a police. They made him an honorary police officer, so he'd be out in the middle of the night pulling people over in his Ferrari for speeding, and they'd write him a ticket and sign it. They have all these speeding tickets from Elvis Presley.
Elvis Presley.
Hello, I'm Officer Elvis.
That ticket be worth some money. Then it'd be worth some money.
Y'all speed.
What's that, Jimmy? No. You mean you're talking? So the headlines for a couple of things read: at least 25 Americans killed during protests and political unrest in 2020. It's pretty close to the truth. I can think of 12 or 14 right off the bat. I can't think of the other 10, but I'm sure they're out there. It's not even. I mean, the life is a lot, but the amount of damage done really it gets into the billions, and it's just ridiculous. It shouldn't have been allowed to happen. You, peaceful protest is fine. Protest all you want. Walk them down the streets, holler, scream, throw bananas at people, whatever. Don't get crazy because you notice something, right? Do you notice there's never protests in the South? You notice that, right? It never happens down here. Happens in the North all the time. Happens out West all the time, but it don't happen in the South. Not even in the heartland. I wonder why. Because every monk humping down here is carrying a gun. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to get into that. You start rioting and looting and shit, they're going to start shooting back at you.
Yeah, but it's your right to protest.
Yeah,
Rioting
protest.
isn't part of it. Crime isn't part of it. It's protesting has nothing to do with that.
But that's what I'm saying. See, they weren't protesting. They were rioting. They were robbing and looting and stuff like that. That's what they were doing. And a lot of not to
But
say
they were
that
calling
everybody
them protesters. The media was calling the criminals
because
protesters.
some of them were legitimate protesters. What happened?
They have the ones who weren't doing the crime.
Yeah.
The ones who weren't burning down police stations, for God's sakes.
People were taking advantage of the legitimate ones. And what would have happened down here, like if you went through a black neighborhood protesting like that and started burning businesses, they'd have come out with shotguns and started shooting your asses. That's exactly what would happen.
I used to work in the club business, man, and we had these anarchist groups
That's
come
how it
in,
is down here, Sean.
skinheads and that type of thing, and they'd be like, "Anarchy, anarchy." I'm like, "Do you even know what anarchy means?" Like, it's like basically it's mob rule, and you're not going to be all free to do what you want. It's going to be whoever has the bigger or more guns is going to control you. Is that just basically what it is, man? But people are nuts, dude. They're never happy either.
Yeah, well, I agree, Joe. I'm not doing a Civil War era, but it's a different world down here.
And something else that I can talk about with the peaceful protests. And if you remember a few years back, there were those protests where people were walking down the streets, impeding traffic. Yeah. Although they were being peaceful, they're breaking the law by impeding traffic and civil services. And hardly anyone got arrested for that whatsoever. Right. And so it really depends on, I guess, the municipality. But you can't break the law, and you can't destroy property, and you can't loot. And when you do, then these people get arrested. Then they complain that they got arrested for stealing a TV while they're in the middle of a protest.
Well, you should have seen after Katrina. It was so funny. So, we left for a couple of days, and I had a special permit to get back. So we're coming over to high rise, and you can see people. They were going out of Walmart's rolling these 90-inch TVs out. So you go look for every Walmart in town was empty. And it was only 10,000 people stayed behind. Out of the 500,000 that lived there, only 10,000 stayed behind. All the convenience stores, they were dragging out ATMs trying to break into them, which I thought was hilariously funny. You ever try to break into the ATM? It ain't happening. you better have some really good equipment because you ain't getting in there just trying to pry it open with a pry bar or something.
That equipment's called TNT.
Yeah, they showed one guy, he tied it up to the thing, went to jerk it out to the convenience store, and it jerked his bumper off his truck.
I saw that. I saw that.
Hilarious. I was like, dude, what an idiot. So I wanted some cigarettes because I used to smoke back then. I was going around town, so I called a friend of mine, owned Jack's convenience. So he said, look, I got 2 stores. He said, I'll tell you how to get in the back. Well, so I walk in this man's store, right? They looted his store completely. They not only looted it, they defecated all over everything. So, and he, everything. So I knew where to go. I got in the back shed, got my cigarettes and all. I said, look, you just tell me what. Oh, he said, don't worry about that. I said, the insurance will take care of all of this. He said, but they did. I mean, they didn't have to do any of that. I mean, they were just being pigs for the sake of being pigs. And I open carry that entire time. Somebody said, are you worried about the people? I said, not so much. But a couple of times, I'm walking in the backyard of this place going for a customer. I get back to this white dog or this tan-colored dog is tied up to something, right? He is furious. This dog hasn't eaten probably 2 weeks.
Wow.
So I'm sitting there. I got my gun on the side.
Like 2 weeks.
I don't know, dude. It was 2 weeks at least before anybody had been out there because I knew who lived there and they hadn't been there for 2 weeks. So I don't know if he was eating grass or what. He had water. It was water because it had been raining and flooded, but there's water. But it wasn't food. He was literally skin and bones. And I'm thinking, dog, don't make me shoot you because he was furiously. So you know what I did? I walked in my truck. I had a hamburger and fries that I just bought. I walked back, just started feeding him. I unchained him, put him in the truck, brought him over to a friend of mine's house. And, we saved it. But he wasn't the only one. There's a couple other times we ran into things like that. And then I walked in this guy's house, and I guess some people had broke into the house and were living there. And they all jumped up and were freaking out. Guy pulls a machete out. And I'm like, dude, put it up. And he's like, you're at my house. I said, this is not your house. I said, get out of here. It's not your house. I ain't going to tell you again. And he said, what you going to do about it? And I lifted up my shirt. And I said, that's what I'm going to do about it. All three of them went hauling ass out of the house. And you just know you're going to walk into it. I mean, it was a disaster. You know, everywhere you go, you had to use chainsaws to cut your way to get from one place to the other. I mean, we were literally, the first 5 days we were home, we were literally going hunting down water lines and turning off water so we could have water, and cutting trees down so we could get through the streets to get around before even the National Guard got here. And I was like, no, I wasn't going nowhere. Matter of fact, not only did I have mine, I made sure my wife had one, my son had one, my partner had one. It just, it was just dangerous. And you just didn't know what you were going to run into.
Yeah, I got a story for you, Joe. When I don't remember which hurricane it was, but I was in Georgia and I had my concealed carry permit, and so they evacuated the whole city of Savannah. We had to, leave. The furthest the furthest we could stop was Atlanta, to where they said we would be safe from this hurricane. So my friend and I were caravanning down the road, and we only got maybe a mile outside the city limits on the highway, and it was just bumper to bumper. And oddly enough, my dad said he saw me on TV when the news helicopter flew over my car and had the T-tops off. But so the traffic wasn't going anywhere. So me and my friend, we pulled off onto the shoulder. We walked up to the top of this hill. I walked my cats, fed my cats, and then put my cats back in the car. And we're just standing there having cigarettes and just talking until the traffic started moving again. And behind us was a fence. Behind the fence was a road and a T intersection and a cornfield. And we see this car come up the T-bone. It turns left or turns right. And then we think nothing of it. And a few minutes later, that same truck comes the other way down the road, and they stop right by me and my friend. And in the biggest rednecky voice you could hear, the driver goes, "Hey, you all get blanked up by that hurricane?" Exact words. So I had my 45 on and it wasn't a 45. It was a 1911 in 9mm, big old sissy chrome-plated gun, but had 10 bullets in it. So I kind of pulled my jacket back and turned around and kind of just like a model, pointing my hip at the guy in the car. And it had the whole back seat was full, and the pickup was full of 10 people. They saw the gun, and that was it. They took off. Had they not seen that gun, they probably would have jumped that fence and beat the snot out of me and my buddy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you gotta
Absolutely.
You know, it's funny. I'm from New York City, and I don't have any stories like this, man. I have only one where I had to drive through the Crown Heights riots, man. When Hasidic Jews were attacking blacks and attacking Hasidic Jews. It was surreal. And I did have a pistol on me, but I didn't shoot anybody.
It's just, you shouldn't have to.
I had a 44 Bulldog, man. That was to this day, one of the most trusted and reliable little. It's small. It's small, because it's such a snub nose, so it's real small. But man, it's like a freaking hand cannon.
Oh, that's my ex brother-in-law used to carry a 357 Magnum snub nose. That little bitch kicked like a horse for being a 357 Magnum. I was like, damn, it's like a kick.
I'm doing the 10mm lock in a couple of weeks. I already got the guy holding on to it.
I think I'm gonna trade my 44 Eagle for the 45. The 44's got way more knockdown power. Don't get me wrong. It's a hand cannon is what it is. But
a 10mm Glock is the way to go. That's the one in Alaska that they carry for bear, man. I trust people in the bush because they deal with it every day. They're the ones living it. I'm just some schmuck in upstate New York. These guys are the ones. These guys living it, and they're going to have on them what they can use to protect themselves. They choose the 10mm. They make a 1911 10mm. They chamber that round in a lot of different types of pistols. But
today they make
Glock is accurate, reliable. That's what you want, right?
Oh yeah, Glock's a good gun. It's a reliable cannon.
10mm is big, man. It's
with my watchdog buddy, I will sick her ass on G.
She's ready. Look at her. Look how angry she's like.
Don't put that
she's
shit
already
on
angry.
She said, "I will eat you up, boy. Huh? I will gnaw your little toenail right off your little foot. Don't mess with me, huh?" She's famous now. She's been all over TikTok. She does all kind of crazy. So we're getting ready to get another one in 14 days, or actually 12 days, and because this one's lonely. We're not even going to go there, people. We're just going to leave it alone. But I know we're going to get out of here in a minute. But remember this, Mike, when you're buying guns right now, normally I tell you buy whatever you want, but it's hard to get ammo right now. 9mm is the most plentiful ammo you can get, followed by 45. Other ammos are hard to get. See, I can get 9 all day long down here, and I got a company I can buy it I got a company I can buy from, but they only make you got to
Well,
buy 250 rounds minimum.
10 millimeter are actually more expensive than the rounds of my 556,
Oh
man.
yeah, of course they
You
are.
know,
They got to be
it's
more
like 80
expensive.
cents a round, almost a
Yeah,
buck a round.
that's about right.
That's a lot of money, dude. If you go to the range and you pop off 50, 60 rounds, I mean, I'm not wealthy. That's a hell of a lot of
No,
money.
it's a chunk of money.
Yeah, and I can tell you about the ammo here. Right across the street from my hotel, there's a Sportsman's Warehouse. Nice store. They got guns all over the place. They got plenty of guns. They have zero. I mean, absolutely zero ammo.
Yeah,
What
see,
they
like,
had was 223, and they had maybe some 30-06, but it was like $40-50 for 25 bullets.
oh,
Wow.
There's
yeah.
no ammo
That's
anywhere
good.
up in this area.
What part of
So-
Pennsylvania?
I'm in Scotland, which is right outside of Chambersburg, and my house is in Waynesboro, about 30 minutes from here.
I'll send you.
What's that near, though? I have no idea what that's near.
Well,
is
we're
it
right on the
Pittsburgh or is
border
it-
of Maryland, so I guess the biggest city that's like an hour away is, well, maybe 2 hours is more like Pittsburgh, heading towards the west.
So are you close to like Gettysburg?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm like half an hour
Yeah.
from Gettysburg. Yeah, absolutely.
There's that big train museum there, Shranksville or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Awesome pretzels down there, man. I fiend, you know, the pumpernickel pretzels.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Dutch, Pennsylvania, you can't go wrong.
Yeah. Lots of good food down here. I'm going to get fat.
Yeah, Amish, you got a lot of Amish hanging around.
So,
The Mennonites actually have several stores around here. They're called the Dutch Pennsylvania or whatever. And I think, Dutch Pennsylvania. And they sell furniture. They sell, meat and deli stuff. And they have candy and they have restaurants. The food is so good.
Same for upstate Mennonites, man. They're pretty enterprising.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know we got to get out of here in a minute. Chris, I'm going to answer your question real quick. For my 9, I got 1,000 rounds in the house. I got 6 clips. I got 2 18s, 2 21s, and 2 34s, and they're all loaded.
You're funny, man. I never tell anybody what I have.
Oh, no, listen.
I don't
Listen,
even say
better
what I
than
got.
that.
Nothing.
Better than that.
I got. You know what? I got nothing. I got zero.
Better than that, I have 200 rounds of RIPs in the house. If y'all ever see one of these rip bullets, don't even go around you. This, you can use a 380 with this bullet, and it would rip the shit out of you. These are badass. They don't play around. And I like to do this with my hollow points. I'll drip a nickel of not going to say nickel. The stuff inside your thermometer.
Mercury.
I'll drop a round in each.
It ain't mercury anymore.
And the ones for me, the ones I get are still are. And
If it's silver, it's mercury. If it's red, it's not.
So I'm just warning you people. You don't have to worry about me. My wife will shoot you faster than I will.
Joe's just kidding because we all know that the FBI would certainly arrest someone who says that they would put mercury in the tip of a bullet.
That's right, Peter.
Just like if you put garlic in the tip of a bullet, which an ex-FBI agent taught me that at the range one time on Long Island and said, don't mess with mercury because I used to boast too. I'll put mercury in there. Every guy says that crap, And he's like, you know what? Put garlic in there.
Oh, well, you know what you can put if you want.
Seal it with wax because I guess when garlic goes into your body directly, it kills you. And it's not like you eat it, you can digest it. But if it goes in your bloodstream, you're screwed, man. But I don't know whether a guy was just bull
if you want,
I don't want to get shot either way. And I don't
you
want to
you can buy cyanide. You can buy cyanide and drip them in there.
Roy Schneider, Jaws.
And you can buy cyanide and put them in there. It's I just like my RIPs.
I wouldn't do any of that, man.
Your RIPs you can't do that with because they got triggers in them. When you look at the bullet, so it's 8 razor blades and then it's a trigger inside of it. So when
they had those elephant those elephant rounds. They not for elephants, but they called them that. The white elephant, I think, that slivered into plastic when it went, so it just slivers you up, And they banned those. I mean, they made a lot of them illegal. But you don't really need any of that stuff.
No, you don't. But when I was in Savannah, there was a gang that their initiation was you had to shoot a white person in the daytime with 2 witnesses. One witness had to be from the gang. The other witness had to be outside of the gang. And this gang had 13 police officers and 3 or 4 detectives on their squad or on their team. Ugh. And they all had level 5 military grade armor. I don't know if they had the trauma plates or not, but they had military grade bulletproof armor. So I went to a gun show, and I bought about 6 or 8 boxes of Ranger SXT Black Talons. And I still have 3 clips worth of them. And I'll tell you this much. They're kind of like the bullets you're talking about, Joe, but they will rip through Kevlar.
Oh, yeah.
They won't go through the trauma plate. They won't go through steel or ceramic, but they will go through the Kevlar. So you have a bulletproof vest, you come at me, sorry for your luck, pal.
Yeah. That's like when we were kids. I remember the first time we decided we went and spent a whole day gathering unspent fireworks. I made a bomb out of. We were dumbasses, by the way.
We made a
So,
bomb too.
well, the first time we did it, we tried it. We stuffed it in a plastic cup. Okay, that was just stupid. So we lit it. Just made this. It didn't do anything. So then a friend of mine taught me how to make a cannon out of beer cans, and it works better with the old beer cans, the steel ones. So you put 6 beer cans together, you put a hole in the back, fill it up with lighter fluid, stuff a tennis ball in or some China balls, and light it. Boom! It worked great.
Joe.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's toy stuff. And then a friend of mine, when I was in the Navy, he said, "Let me show you how to make a real pipe bomb." And I was like, "Why?" He said, "You never know in life when you might need it." Those are badass, by the way. They make.
Yeah, we don't need to say that on the air because we don't.
I don't make them. I don't make
kicked
them.
off or banned or have.
No. I would never make one, and I would never tell anybody on air how to make one.
ATF Bureau coming after anybody, or.
But unfortunately, you can find it on the internet. You know what I found out? Until recently, you could find out how to put together a nuke on the internet. I'm like, get the shit out of here, really? And I remember when they started searching to take it up, but they still there's several kind of you can find how to make plastiques, how to make pipe bombs, there's all kind of shit. I'm like, really?
Gelatinized gasoline. And, we did the same thing when we were kids, Joe. We didn't use beer cans. We used tennis ball cans, like 2 of them together.
Yeah, that worked.
And we would use gasoline and tennis balls. And if you slice a tennis ball, you put gas in it, you put it in the cannon, and you shoot it. The ball hits the ground and leaves a trail of fire behind it. But we were dumb enough to we got a copy of the Anarchist Cookbook, and we got the formula for black gunpowder. So as idiots, when we were 8, 9, 10-year-old kids, we went to the different grocery stores and hardware stores on our bikes and got all the ingredients, and we made yellow gunpowder. We used too much sulfur, I think, but we made a gunpowder that actually lit. We put it in a 16-ounce glass Pepsi bottle with the screw-on lid. We took the lid off, used a cork and wet, and we filled it with the gunpowder. And we had the youngest one, after we lit it, put it in front of someone's house on their front door, and it didn't go off. So we're like, wow. So we sent the little one back to go pick up the bomb, and when he was 10 feet from it, it exploded and sent him 20 feet through the air, arms and legs out like that, on the ground, and we scattered like mice, and we blew up the entire first floor of glass on this lady's house. We all got caught. We all got in trouble, but we never did that again. But it was fun, but stupid and dangerous.
Yeah, I see that. Well, I watched some of my friends. They took a 5-gallon drum of gasoline and was taking styrofoam and ice chests and stuffing them in there so they would melt in there and soaking the gasoline in it. They were making their own form of napalm. That's what they were doing. They would light it and throw it. It would stick to anything, man. It'd just stay there burning. I was like, holy shit, man.
How did we start talking about all this mayhem?
I don't know, but by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we got to go. But
now you guys are like admitting all these crimes.
Listen, we got to go. So we don't condone any of this, ladies and gentlemen. We're just telling you.
I have nothing to do with any of it.
We don't think anybody should be out there doing this. You should spank your little kids.
I never did anything wrong. I'm saying that right
and
now.
This was we were all doing this stuff when we were children, not as grown adults. We're just saying.
You guys are criminals.
We were criminals when we were kids. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's always bad when I was a kid, but don't do this. And if you're a child and you happen to hear this tonight, shame on you for being up this late anyway. It's 11 o'clock.
Don't blow your fingers off with fireworks. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt anybody else.
I had a friend used to
don't hurt any animals.
I used to have a friend used to bring me quarter sticks all the time, like real ones. I mean, they were nice too. And then he went and got his ass arrested because he was using them for fishing, for pond fishing.
That's Chinatown. Yeah. You go in there and get half sticks. They're called blockbusters, man. Yeah. Sometimes they're called cherry bombs, but they're like half sticks.
Yeah. These are illegal. You can't get these legally, but they were
illegal in the street. There wasn't like a store.
Again, we don't condone any of this, people. Don't do this. We're just talking amongst ourselves, and y'all just happen to be listening to us tonight. Anyway, we got to get out of here because coming up next is Quantum Leap with Kathy Belsky. Y'all stay tuned.
Kathy Belsky's got the worst explosives, man. She blows everything. She's got a flamethrower.
Yeah, she got a 1,000-pound crystal. That's what she got.
That's what she uses, a flamethrower to heat up those crystals, man.
Oh wait, who was it? Which one of the guys made the flamethrower? Was it Elon? Which
Elon,
one?
His boring company.
Oh yeah, you seen that little badass flamethrower he's got? See, people, that kind of shit encourages us back.
It's actually legal. It's legal to own in the United States. You can have a flamethrower.
Actually, a lot of things were legal to own in the United States. Some of it got turned up. And real quick, I know we got to get out of here. Real quick, Second Amendment, people. The Second Amendment technically does not give you the right to bear arms. What it gives you the right is to form a militia to protect yourself from the government or from foreign or domestic is what it says. So you're supposed to be able to do everything the military does. what happened is that was going on for a long time, and it became the National Guard. And now us poor people can't form a militia because we got the National Guard, so we're screwed. But they just banned automatic weapons in the 1900s, 1940, 1950, fully automatic. And,
it was right after like the Chicago massacres, right around that time.
And most people don't have no need for fully automatic when you're hunting. I mean, come on, it's bad. If I had a 12 gauge automatic I used to hunt with, and I had to get rid of it because I didn't feel like it was sporting because it just held 6 rounds. Like, you kill 6 ducks in 6 seconds, man. I'm like, catch a deer, no problem. It's just people I used to hunt. Whoever wrote me that message, I used to hunt all the time. I hunted a lot when I was young. I gave it up when my son was born because I didn't think he needed to play with guns. As I got older, I got smarter. A little bit anyway. On that note, we got to get out of here. Jay, thanks for popping by. Sean, nice to see you in the room. And really nice to see you too. Mike, thanks for hanging with us. Guys, we'll see y'all all in a couple of days. Enjoy the holiday. And if you're Canada, enjoy Canada Day.
Canada Day.
Banana Day, whatever. And,
happy Canada Day while you're all locked up.
Happy late Canada Day. And,
they're all locked up and they have no free speech.
I hope y'all have a great Independence Day. And remember what America's about.
That red leaf on the flag looks like Communist Alley, man.
While y'all are out there blowing shit up this weekend, remember what America is truly about, people. It's truly about freedom for all of us.
Advertising. America's about advertising. It's everywhere. It's here.